This is the Big O Show.
Yes! We are ready to rock and roll. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, it's a beautiful Monday. We are on the air. We are rocking. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was a fantastic weekend. It was a weekend where you went through Valentine's Day, the whole weekend. We got XFL action. We got the NBA All-Star Game.
Most people are off and sitting at home.
Yes. Hey, you know what? I'm sitting at home too. I'm just working, but I'm sitting at home. Hell, we're doing double the work today because we're on today, like always, and then we are on tonight on Mad Dog from 8 to 11. So we are doing two different shows today. We got a loaded freaking show today. We are going to be rocking all over. I can see folks are already signing up on the YouTube channel, which we love you for as always. We've got Ian Margul is going to join us from WPLG at 11:30. We'll talk a little Panthers after another disgusting effort by the Cats as they lose to the Oilers on Saturday night. And boy, I could either be hanging out over at Al Lang Stadium watching, the inaugural game in public for Inter Miami, or I could be getting depressed about the Panthers. Thank the Lord that I chose the first half of it, and I went to Al Lang Stadium with my boy here on Saturday, and we had a blast, man. That was so much fun. We'll talk about that also here on the program. Although, we could go up on Saturday and just stay there for a couple days, which we just did instead for next week. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Just go over back to the stadium and hang.
Yeah, no, just go to the stadium and then go to the concerts and then go home. And you know what I'm saying?
I would like to right now. I would like to squeeze in besides a Burns,
yes,
a Busch Gardens day.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We could do that if we go up there because Sunday could be the Busch Gardens day. That could be could be the day
I'm
we
just
get away.
looking for maybe 10 or 12 rides on roller coasters and we're out. That's it.
I got you.
Don't have to do anything. We've been there, done that. I just want to ride some coasters.
Yeah,
man.
no, I got you. And so we're rocking today till 3 o'clock. We got all kinds of guests. Ian Margul will stop by. Mark Perry is a new addition. We're going to have him on at 12:30. He is an XFL insider from XFL News Hub. So I figured we get a little XFL report, right? I don't know about you. I don't know how many of you are watching the XFL, but I am. I'll tell you what, the PJ Walker kid, he alone is worth the admission every week just to watch what he does with the Houston team. That's that sidearm throw he made this week and the runs he had. He had a couple of really good throws. I mean, he's thrown for 6 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks actually. So he's lighting it up, as they say. That's a kid that if he continues on this path, somebody in the NFL might say he is this kind of quarterback that we're looking for in today's NFL. Athletic, can move around. You know what I mean?
Like you said, between the throw, and it's under the tackle's arm, between two defenders, sidearm. Yeah.
Sidearm.
That was awesome.
And
I think it was 3rd and 11.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's going to get sacked. He spins out, gains his footing, and goes for the first down.
Yeah.
Those 2 plays right there.
And the throw he made at the corner of the end zone too.
Yes.
He made a couple. PJ's made the first 2 weeks of the season. He's made several throws. So we'll have Mark Perry on. We'll get into a little XFL talk. Franco Panizo. I just met Franco this weekend at Al Lang Stadium. He was there covering Inter. And so, wow, shocker. Besides Michelle, besides Kobe Price, I know the Sun Sentinel doesn't have Kobe traveling, so that part sucks for them. The Herald is full board covering Inter Miami. They're covering Inter like nobody else. But Franco was there too, so I don't know if SBIsoccer.com is going to be sending him also on the road. but he was there covering Inter, and he knows his stuff too because we were there during the press conference, so I definitely saw him at work. And the young man knows his stuff. So we'll talk a little Inter with him at 1:30. We'll get his thoughts on that. 2:30, Pedro Gomez from ESPN is going to stop by. So the MLB insider, he'll be joining us from the West Coast. We'll have a little fun with him. We got a lot of things to talk about with him, obviously, with the cheating scandal. And we got plenty of sound on that, too, that we want to get into. Here on the pro. I mean, we got a loaded show for you today. Absolutely loaded on a Monday. We are ready to rock and roll. A lot of you out there, you're probably enjoying your day off today, which, hey, good for you. If you're a corporate time-stealing weasel and you're listening or watching us while you're working, bless you, man. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you for finding a way to cheat and listen to us and support us. We love you for that. That is absolutely phenomenal. So we'll have some fun here on the program. We got a lot of things to talk about. Yesterday, obviously, the All-Star game took place. It was, I guess, do we talk about the game? Do we talk about all the other stuff that went on? Because Jennifer Hudson was phenomenal to in the opener, in singing and tribute for Kobe. She was a goddess, man. She was great. Common, I thought, was awesome. By the way, Common was was doing the introduction, not the players stuff. He did a great job with that, but his introduction was absolutely fantastic. Okay. I don't know. Do you have that? Yeah. Our engineer is in engineering, so that's probably what it is. We'll get the sound somehow, and we'll get it going for you, and we'll play it. My brother, I don't know. That's your job. I can't figure it out. Anyway, so we'll get it. But Common was awesome on it, and the way he delivered it, the way he had it rapping and rhyming the entire time was really, 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 really cool. I thought he did a phenomenal job.
A young boy gazed in the sky, wondering what it means to be from the shy. He had a need to fly in search of his wings. He seek through rhyme schemes and also hoop dreams. Saints and angels would sing songs of what he could be. He closed his eyes and imagined dribbling to destiny. You see, from where he stood, he could see the stars. So he'd ask himself, how do I get to where they are? If this city could talk, it would say, hey man, you from Chicago. The land of Fred Hampton and Jean-Baptiste Dusable and better tomorrows. As long as you follow your heart of the city, a love that started at Foster Park and hooping after dark, or even in the snow when we couldn't shoot jump shots because of how hard the wind would blow. So we take it to the hole, a la D Rose. If this city could talk, it would say from the concrete we rose. A place of deep souls. Some ball in street clothes. Nice with the shot, but in the paint we deboes. And coming from Shot City, there's a lot they put up on us. But whatever they say, they gonna say you from the corners. If this city could talk, it would say you from the land of chosen children. So whenever you get on that court, you carry the spirit of Ben Wilson. And the feeling of street legends, whose games we all cherish. I'm talking Ronnie Fields, Mac Irvin, Trash, and Billy the Kid Harris. And legends of Chicago, who are basketball gods today. Like Mark Aguirre, KG, Isaiah, and Tim Hardaway. That's in your DNA. If you can see, you can be the way. Do you know the story of the young boy back in the day? He was on a bus ride with his sister, not knowing where life would take him. Dropped off to live with his father at a West Side location. Now he wasn't highly scouted, but himself he never doubted. For dreams are destinations, you never know how they could be routed. And though the game was crowded, for himself he'd make a name. The world would call him Flash. This city knows him as Dwayne.
That was absolutely awesome by Common. It continues and he wraps it all up, but we kind of ended there with Wade. It's like 6 minutes. It was fantastic. The game was pretty cool. All right, it was nice to see Bam. I like the moment where Jimmy had the ball and quickly he got it to Bam's for the layup, and it was just the teamwork between the two. Bam ended up with 12 minutes. 4 or 5 shooting, 8 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Butler played 13 minutes, shot 2 of 2 from the field, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 assists in the process. They didn't play a ton, obviously. They're not the main stars of all of this. Now, I will give them this. While Kawhi won the MVP, it was a really creative fourth quarter. And I loved what they did in that fourth quarter. That format was fantastic. For those of you that didn't watch, look, I don't watch the All-Star game. I normally don't. I watched this one because Bam was in it and Jimmy was in it, and I was kind of intrigued with all the Kobe stuff going on, and I knew that being in Chicago, they would honor Wade and things like that, so I kind of wanted to be a part of watching that. I normally don't. I mean, I rarely care about the All-Star game, but I got to tell you something. That was the first All-Star game since way back in the 80s that I actually saw them try. Not try. They were playing hard as hell in that fourth quarter. And if you didn't watch it, the format was whatever the score was at the end of the third, the leading team, they added 24 points in honor of Kobe Bryant. And then you had to play, it was 157. So the game ends at 157. No time was in the fourth quarter. So it was like a pickup game. Like you play 21, same thing, and you're playing hard, and you got to get to 20. Same thing. The desperation set in. The guys were playing hard. They were trying to win their quarters, but the fourth quarter, there was some serious competition. I mean, they were playing with their not just physically, but they were playing with their minds too. They were trying to be as smart as possible, as efficient as possible. They were making some plays. I mean, even that block was kind of controversial too, man. That was one that was like, you could have gone both ways on it. I thought it was goaltending, but whatever. It is what it is. They ended up giving him the block. But I really loved the way they ended that game in that fourth quarter. That's a great idea. It's almost like maybe we should do that in every NBA game. That maybe you should end the fourth quarter like that, at least during the regular. They try during the playoffs. But during the regular season, maybe they should do it that way. Maybe they try a little harder. Who knows? But that was really, really good, man. I really enjoyed watching that fourth quarter because it was like, wow, they're actually trying, man. They actually give a crap about this. And that to me, that was the cool part about watching that game yesterday. And it made me feel kind of happy that I didn't waste my time watching just an exhibition game and guys clowning around or whatever. And, like when you watch the Pro Bowl and they start rolling on the ground before they rush the passer, and you're like, what the hell is this, dude? Come on. They're doing just some stupid-ass stuff, and you're like, why am I even watching this? That kind of crap. Yeah. That's because I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch the NBA All-Star game. I don't watch the NHL All-Star game. I just don't anymore. Baseball's the only one I watch because it's the only one that resembles a real game. And I get it. It's called an exhibition. Oh, it's all-star, all that. That's fine. Then go ahead. Knock yourselves out. I'm not interested in it. But yesterday, that was cool. That was cool. I got much props to the commissioner, props to everybody that came up with this system. It brought back some interest into the All-Star game itself. I mean, listen, I'm pretty much done with dunk contest and three-point contest and all that. If it wasn't because the Heat had so many guys in it, I probably wouldn't have given a crap. You know what I mean? And I had it all recorded. I didn't watch it live, but I had it all recorded. And I ended up watching all that, and congratulations to Bam winning the skills contest. That was really, really cool. Derrick Jones Jr., I thought I had no problem with him winning it. I don't care about the stupid-ass controversy. Aaron Gordon did not clear Taco Fall. Okay? He had to use the ball on his ass to lift himself over Taco Fall, and Taco was still bending over his neck and all that while this guy was passing his scrotums all over his head. So Taco volunteered to get somebody's package rubbed up on him, basically, on national television. That's basically what Taco Fall did. Taco took the fall in that one. I mean, listen, if you're going to pick somebody, then jump over them. Make sure you jump over them. Then you'll impress me. You got to Frederick Weiss his ass. If you didn't Frederick Weiss him, I don't have a problem with that vote. So with me, whatever, man. Derrick Jones Jr. won it. Congratulations to him. Buddy Hield won the three-point contest. Our boy Duncan Robinson was out in the first round. He didn't have a good outing. Kendrick Nunn scored 16 points in the futures game. It was a really good weekend for the Heat. The question is, did Robinson? I don't even know if Robinson made the trip now. I don't even know. But anyway, I hope Butler and Adebayo and I hope Wade all worked on Giannis. Now remember, Giannis picked Butler and Bam on his team. I'm not saying that means anything whatsoever because the way Giannis thinks, he's probably going to be happy in Milwaukee because he's kind of a simple guy and all that stuff. So maybe he will stay in Milwaukee. And, hey, they've built a really nice team around him. Okay? They have put the proper complementary pieces around him so he is the star and then everybody else plays off of him. And, I mean, the record speaks for itself, right? So we'll see how he ends up here in the next year and how happy he is. There's a part of me that in a perfect world, wouldn't you want Giannis to just win the championship this year? Right? Like you win the championship this year and then next year in your final year in Milwaukee, you suffer monster setbacks. And your team's not that good. And then you're like, well, I won the title already. Maybe it's time for me to go somewhere else where I have an opportunity to sustain the whole thing. I'll go to Miami. That kind of stuff. I guess that's the only thing I can think of that maybe, if I want to spin it where Giannis could end up here. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to lift him up high, give him a title, and then have the bottom fall out from under him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Heat, it's not like the Heat are going to win a title next year, so it's not like you're taking the opportunity from Miami, but it would get you your title already. You don't have to worry about it. Now you can leave Milwaukee like, hey, yo, guys, I won your title. I'm good, right? That's it.
So you want him to be really happy, and then you want him to be really mad.
And then be really happy because he signs with the Miami Heat. That's what it's all about. Man, a bunch of you already are signed on.
This guy riding on an emotional roller coaster now.
I love it. I love it. Isn't that what pro sports is? Ty is chiming in with a good morning. Thank you, Ty. We love you, brother. Andre Williams saying, what's up, O? Thank you, Andre. George, good morning from Jersey, guys. User Tom, what up, Big O? Let's see. Myron says, morning, O. Great show yesterday on Mad Dog Radio. So when are the Astros players going to shut up, cheaters? They will just continue to talk and bury themselves is what they're going to do. Man of 1,000 holds says, morning, everybody. Congrats to Bam and DJ for representing the Heat. Peter chimes in. What's up, oh? Let's get one time to be on one day at 10 a.m., next 11 a.m. What's going on here? You're just a ball buster. Mike is saying, Big O, I got laid over the weekend. Some girl got into an argument with her boyfriend at Backyard, and I swooped in. At Backyard, is that like America's Backyard, like in Fort Lauderdale? Is that the place? Is that what you meant by Backyard? Let's see, what else do we have here? Big Mike says, good morning from NYC. Big O, not busy at work today since no one's here because of the holiday, so I finally get back to listening to you. All right, Big Mike. That's what we like, baby. Mike Monaco says, are you guys ready for Justin Herbert at number 5? There's more smoke there than a Cheech and Chong movie. Maybe, maybe not. We will get into that. We told you a couple weeks ago that there's interest in the building for Herbert. As disturbing as that sounds, there is. Let's see. NorCal is chiming in. No days off. Wake and bake. Way to go. Damn, you baking at this time, bro? That's strong. Woke up early baking. Nice job by you. Let's see. What else do we have here? Splib is chiming in. Oh, de Grande. It's Splib. What's up, blood? Where you been, dog? We're here every day, man. We've been here every day for 6 months now. 6 months strong. You can catch us every day here on the program. It's a beautiful thing. Giving you the best sports talk you're going to get. Way better than anything in South Florida. Guillermo's also chiming in. Good morning, boys. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you to all chiming in. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up also while you're watching. Spread the word. Spread the link. Share the Yahoo link, YouTube link with your friends. Share it on social media. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Tell people that we're here every day and all that stuff so we could get more and more support here and grow this thing, baby, and make it stronger and stronger and stronger because that's what it's all about. So we had a great weekend, man. It was a lot of fun. This week. I did a lot of work. I mean, I think about it. We did a radio show on Sunday. We went out to Tampa on Saturday. And tonight we're back on Mad Dog tonight again. So a lot of work, but a lot of fun weaved in through all of this. And one of the things that we want to get into here at the bottom of the hour with Ian Margul from Channel 10 is obviously a little Panthers talk, and we'll get into it because obviously the Panthers they've lost 7 of 9. Okay, and remember, this is after their players meeting. This is after they lost, and they were saying, "Well, we got to play better," and all this stuff. And what did I tell you? What have I been telling you? Okay, the season's over already. This team doesn't have it. Okay, you know what frustrates the crap out of me with this Panthers team and the people sometimes that want to cover it or talk about it. Oh, well, there's still only a couple points out of the play. And so what? And so what? What does that mean? If you're watching how gutless they are now, what does it matter?
In the playoffs, it gets more physical, harder. That beats our butt every time.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. This is a nothing team. They're soft. The playoffs don't matter anymore. They're not getting anywhere. They're not going to beat anybody in the playoffs. So why are we even talking about it? Now, if you want to go through that mental masturbation and you want to torture yourself, you go ahead. I mean, I'm still watching because I love the Panthers, but, I don't BS here, man. I don't play that game. I don't play that game with the owner of the Panthers. Okay? I won't play that game with coaches of the Panthers or players. I'll tell them straight up, you don't have it. You're not the team. You're soft. You guys can easily get pushed around, and you do nothing about it. And you're all talk. All talk. Well, we got to play better. We got to pick it up. And I've told you this in the past. If Barkov is your best player, you're not good enough. Barkov is a great two-way player on his own, but he cannot be your best player because he's not enough of a scorer to be your best player. They don't have that dog. They don't have that guy that dominates and scares the crap out of people. As good as Barkov is, he doesn't scare you because he's a passive superstar. He's a great two-way player, but he's not a guy that dominates the puck, that dominates the attention, that scares the crap out of you because he can get a hat trick at any moment. They don't have that guy. They don't have that guy. That's the problem. That's the major problem with the Panthers. They don't have that one star. And now, forget defense and goaltending. We definitely know they don't have that. And without that, you're not going to win anyway. And they spent $70 million on this guy. And let me tell you something. They knew when they brought Bobrovsky in that the back end of that contract was going to be terrible. They didn't know that the front end of the contract was going to be just as bad. Actually, you know what? I got to tell you something. The front end of the contract now becomes worse than the back end. The back end was supposed to be bad because you enjoyed the front end of it. And you can live with the back end and say, well, hey, we got it all right, but we got deep playoff run. We got to a Stanley Cup with the guy, maybe even won it. We can deal with the last couple of years. My Lord, you can't even get to the playoffs with this guy. This guy can't even. This guy's allowed more goals than any goalie in the NHL. Oh, by the way, any more articles going to come out about him being a slow starter? Are we still waiting for Bobrovsky to find his groove? I'm just waiting. I'm just wondering. Any more excuses? No more excuses, man. Gloves are off. It is time to call it like we see it. Look, I feel terrible for the owners because they've done everything they can possibly do in spending all that money. But unfortunately, Dale Talon is the guy you got to go after because he's put together one of the softest teams in Panther history. Do you know how terrible it is that in hockey you're soft? That's really not a label you want in that sport. Football and hockey, no, man. You could be, finesse in basketball because it's not really a physical sport anymore. It's not like we're in the 90s or 80s. It's not like we got, Parrish just hammering Bill Lambier. Those days are gone.
Hey, man. 2 minutes, Mr. Margul.
Yes. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We will have Ian Margul on the other side. If you want to get in, it's really simple, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. That's the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Let's take a quick break. Ian Margul from WPLG next.
This is the Big O Show.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, yes, sir. Let's get it going. Ian Margul does an excellent job for WPLG, covering a lot of news, but he's also a sports fan, and he loves his Panthers, and he suffers with them. Yep, you suffer with them just like I do. First of all, Ian, you're not getting too close to these cruise ships that you're covering, correct?
No, I'm not getting too close to the cruise ships. That was one day. I don't know if you saw. The interview was from the best interview we had was zoomed in, a guy on his balcony. So I was as far away as I could possibly be.
Wow, man! I like at this point, like I read over the weekend, like what was it, 30 Americans off a boat that they got the coronavirus. Like right now, the cruise ship industry is going to take a monster hit, right? Overall, worldwide. Like you tell me, even if you tell me, oh, you could see Metallica, Iron Maiden, and the Scorpions right now on this cruise ship, I'm not going, bro. I'm not going.
We have a photographer who I'm really close with who has a trip coming up. He's supposed to be flying to Dubai and then taking a cruise, and the cruise, no surprise, is canceled. And now they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do with plane tickets to Dubai. And if they even want to do it or if they're going to try to get refunded. So, yeah, no, it's not a great time to be traveling abroad right now.
No, man, no, not at all. All right, my brother. When do you know of team meetings to actually work?
When do I know of team meetings that actually work? Yeah, it is not since Ed Reed and the Canes, right? So it's been a long time. Been a long time, I think.
Yeah,
it's things are bleak, to say the least, and I think that this road trip that they're on, this West Coast road trip, is their last chance to resuscitate the season. Would be a good metaphor.
Yeah, you know what, Ian, that sounds all well and good in theory, my brother, but this season's already over. I mean, let's be honest, dude. I mean, we're expecting a team that's played soft all year, that's been inconsistent all year, that's played terrible defense all year, that's had terrible goaltending all year. So all of a sudden, we're expecting them to maybe possibly sneak into the playoffs and actually make an impact in the playoffs. This team has no shot at beating anybody in the playoffs, even if they make the playoffs. So to me, I don't even look forward to the embarrassment that is going to be another Panther short, stay in the postseason.
Oh, I mean, look, we have been given no evidence over the last 15 years plus that they're going to turn it around and do something good. Look, I think that what you're saying is exactly what 99% of fans are feeling right now. And I think you're right. Look, I think that the goaltending has not been good enough. The defense certainly has not been good enough. And, look, here's the thing with Sergei Bobrovsky. He has always been known to give up rebounds. The thing was, in Columbus, they cleared those rebounds out. Yeah. And he has been known to do what he did this year, which was have a slow first half, and then he can pick it up in the second half. And he has played better in the second half. He was sick the last couple of games, but nonetheless. But to not be able to clear it out or give him any sort of help, and honestly, some of the goals that he has let in, that Montembeault has let in, although they have been playing better in this second half, and I put that in air quotes because obviously it's not exactly the second half, but nonetheless, it just hasn't been good enough. The first goal in the last home game that we just had Montembeau was slow to get over to the left, and it beat him short side. You know what? That changes a game. That you put your team down one, and the fact that they can't score right now does not help their case. Yeah. They went from being the highest scoring team in the league going into the break to barely getting. I think they've had 2 goals twice, or maybe less most of the time throughout since being back from the break. And I mean, it's a different team offensively. It's like every other team in the league flipped the light switch and decided to put on the afterburners and really push down the stretch. And this team thought they could just continue doing the same things they were and scoring 6 goals a game. And it's not going to work. And we're seeing it.
Yeah. And Ian, when you look at the trading deadline right around the corner, if you're first of all, if I'm the owners, I don't know if I want to spend any more. But on the flip side, if I can start unloading, is this the time now? I mean, it's not like you're not really building anything here. You kind of know what this team is already. How many more years of this group are you going to see, right?
Right. So the question here is, and a lot of talk has been centered around Vinny Strocek. Is he going to be the guy that the big domino that falls in this locker room? Here's the issue with that. I think that he's a big locker room guy. I think that would be a big hit to the morale of this team. Mm-hmm. That being said, something does have to change, right? I mean, they may need to just scrap this defense and start over with a new philosophy. Yandel's not going anywhere because he's got a no-trade clause. Matheson's not going anywhere because his contract is nuts. Ekblad, obviously, you're not going to let go anywhere because he's one guy who has been consistently very good all season, and obviously is your number 1 overall pick from years back. But, do you see what you can get in return for a Mackenzie Weegar? What do you do with Mark Pesic, who is suddenly a half decent, scoring 8 goals and getting career highs in points as a 4th line winger? I mean, do we even know who the defensemen on this team are anymore? Josh Brown is getting you a decent return for a guy you got in the 6th round a while ago, but they don't have 2 legitimate number one D line, and they don't have 2 legitimate number 2 guys. There's no identity to this defense. There's no grit to this offense right now. Even you look up at the first line and going to the forwards right now. You look at Barkov, Dadonov, and Huberdeau right now, and they're passing all through the first half of the season, even in times where they weren't scoring when they weren't putting avalanches of goals up. They were still having crisp passes and they were getting opportunities. It just seems like every pass is 6 inches behind the guy or 6 inches too far. Everything's a second off. It just seems like there's something off about this team. Dadonov has 1 assist in the last, 9 games plus. It's just not good enough. And he's a guy where there's talk about whether him or Hoffman or both are going to be traded away. You can't sign both after this season. You can't keep both. They were thinking, okay, on this hot streak they had going into the All-Star break, there was talk, okay, maybe Hoffman stays around and Dadonov stays around. They see what they can do through the playoffs, and then they deal with them in the offseason. Well, you're in a heck of a slump now. What do you do with these guys? So I think you have a lot of identity issues on this team. Does Dale blow it all up and start over? I don't know. I think this road trip tells you a lot for that answer because, end of the road trip pretty much is right there at the trade deadline. But I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few guys who are on the plane yesterday headed to the West Coast are not on the plane coming back to the East Coast in a few days.
All right. Well, I'm going in a territory that most people won't. Maybe definitely on the flagship station they won't have the balls to do it. But I'll say it, my brother. Dale Talon's the problem. Bro, it's 10 years now. How long are we going to brag about what you did in Chicago? I don't care what you did in Chicago, man. If you don't make the playoffs this year, Ian, his teams in 10 years have made the playoffs twice to be embarrassed in the first round. And if they make it this year, they'll be embarrassed again in the first round, and it'll be 3 out of 10 years already. Dale Talon is a monster failure, bro. A monster failure. So this is the follow-up I have with you now. If you are going to blow it up, how the hell do we allow him to blow it up? Because he has sucked in this. I don't care that you found Barkov and Huberdeau and Trocheck. That doesn't matter to me. You can't build an entire team. Yeah, you found a couple of nice pieces, but you overpaid for this goaltender. You've changed multiple coaches. You've changed players. There have been different types of teams to make the playoffs already under your watch. You can't make a deep playoff run. How many more times are we going to hear about Kane and all the other guys that you got over there in Chicago and what you did? The real problem right now, where we got to lay it at the feet, forget Bob, forget any of the players, forget anybody. Dale Talon is enemy number one right now for the Panthers. If I'm the owners, I'm thinking, why am I keeping this guy 10 years? Ian, how many people fail this much in 10 years and keep their jobs in pro sports, much less in hockey, where they change coaches like we change underwears?
Yeah, no, not many, and you're not the only. I mean, I'm seeing it. It's all over social media. Everybody's calling for it. Look, if there's anyone that's on a tight leash on this in this front office, it's Dale Talon. But you know what? Having brought in Q this year, I would not be surprised either way here if Dale is chased out, or if they say, look, you've got Q, you've got 1 more year, 2 more years to try to put this together, or you're out. You know, they finally bring in a coach. You're right. They've cycled through coaches like no one's business in the last few years, and no one has finally got it right. Well, you have a guy, you know, in Q where I don't think anyone would argue any team would want this guy. So how do you? So the you know.
Ian,
the counter argument is how do you not let the two of them together try to put something together? But again, I don't necessarily
hold on. Ian, let me interrupt you there, and I'm sorry. But yes, when you hear him talk, and I'm talking about Q, and he talks about his team not playing hard all the time and that they're inconsistent and all of that, that doesn't fall on Q anymore. That's the people he inherited. That's the people at Talon. That, to me, was more of an indictment on Dale Talon than anybody else. That tells me, Dale, you're finding the wrong guys. You're not finding the guys that are tough enough, good enough for this team, and they don't show the mental capability of playing at a high level in every single period, in every single game. When you have lapses like they do, and Q comes out and says that, I didn't even look at Q. I'm thinking Dale Talon the entire time as the guy that's guilty for handing Q that. Maybe what you do is get rid of Dale Talon and let Q bring in his own general manager. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's it's hard to even argue with that, right? Because Q is the guy, right? He is the guy. He has the reputation for a reason. So, you know, I am hard pressed to fight you on this point because there's no proof in anything that Talon has done here in South Florida. And you're right. How much longer can we tout Chicago? You know, look where they're at right now. They're not exactly in a strong space where he left them 10 plus years ago. You know, I'm not saying that I agree or disagree. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him another year with Q to try to patchwork this back together. Because, you know, we talked about it last time. This is win now time. You have Barkov, Huberdeau, all these guys that are hitting their primes right now. And for what? I mean, for what? What are we seeing? We're seeing a team that the only reason this team is 4 points out of a playoff spot is because Toronto's also struggling. Not because they're playing well enough to be in a playoff spot, not because they're playing well enough to be 2 games out of a playoff spot. They're playing poorly, and they're lucky that the Leafs are also playing poorly. You know, I am hard pressed to be the one to go out in public and say, you know, get rid of a GM for any team, just simply because that's not my job. It's above my pay grade. But it is, as a fan, tough to keep watching this for a decade plus.
Yeah. So if you look at, do you have any hope for this team? Just out because, like, I have no hope already. Like, I
If you were to
see
say
what
to
they
me-
are already, pretty much.
Right.
Go ahead.
If you say to me today, do you have any hope for this team? The answer is no, not really. They tend to do well on Western road trips. That is just the history of this team. I'm not sure why they like the West Coast so much, but they seem to play better during Western road trips. If they somehow string together a bunch of wins here and they get themselves rolling, I don't know, maybe, but I don't have much hope for that. You need to bring in some pretty significant defensive help, or suddenly things would need to change significantly. You know what hurt a lot is Chris Drieger going down. This guy came out of nowhere from the AHL, was leading the AHL in save percentage, and then suddenly came up here and was playing really well, playing like a legitimate number one goaltender when Sergei Bobrovsky was struggling a little bit. And then he goes down with a groin injury. Yes, we continued. They continued and finished a 6-game streak right before the break, but you just haven't had that consistent goaltender like Chris Drieger was from the time he came up to the NHL this year.
Yeah, but and by the way, Ian, during that streak, the thing that kind of we overlooked, there were a lot of bad teams in that streak that they beat.
Oh, absolutely, there were.
So it was just like when I was looking at that, I wasn't even psyched during that streak because I kept pointing out, like, yeah, they're beating some bad teams. I need to see them beat more good teams on a consistent basis, and I knew that wasn't going to be the case, and that's kind of proven out over. And let me tell you, some of these West Coast games are going to be a bitch for them. That's for sure.
No, absolutely agree. And you know, they had no business winning one of the 2 games they've won since the All-Star break. The Toronto comeback with the Mark Pesic hat trick.
Yeah.
They had no business winning that game. They should have lost that game. And like I've said, the Leafs are just the only team that may be struggling as much as the Panthers, but the Leafs are benefiting from the fact that the Panthers suck right now too. So I do not have faith right now. I try to remain positive just because I have resigned myself to being a Panthers fan for my whole life, and if I don't stay positive, it's a miserable existence.
I'm with you. I'm with you, brother.
So, you know, am I hoping for positivity? Am I hoping for a miraculous turnaround? Yeah, but I've also been saying for the last 3, 4, 5 games, hey, they need to start getting things rolling here, and we haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's funny because we laughed at the Dolphins for keeping Ryan Tannehill around for 7 years, and you know we're gonna end up laughing at the Panthers because they've kept Dale Talon around now for 10 years. And they have absolutely nothing to show for it, which is, I mean, that's scary, dude. Like, I would have never thought that you would bring Dale Talon in and you do absolutely nothing in 10 years, man. 10 years.
No, it is. And you're right. I mean, you're right. He's got the Barkovs and the Hubertos and the Trocheks and, you know, but you found a couple great guys, and what have you been able to build around them? Not much. You know, you finally seem to figure out the offense this year, but the defense can't hang, and what does that do? Nothing. So, you know, I think this team needs a totally new defensive philosophy. I love Aaron Ekblad. I happen to be a big fan of Mackenzie Weegar. And I thought that Mike Matheson was going to be able to get it together this season. And, you know, he did show sparks of it, but it's been another struggle for him this season. So he might be the most talented skater on the entire team. But what do you do with these guys? What do you do to shore up the backside? What's the old phrase, defense wins championships. Well, at least win a few games, you know. Let's worry about championships once you can actually make the playoffs.
I'm with you. Follow him on Twitter at Ian Margul, WPLG. Catch his work there at Channel 10. Ian, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. Stay away from those cruise ships.
I absolutely will, Big O. Always a pleasure, man.
You're a stud. Thank you, my brother. There you go. Ian Margul, good stuff as always. We love talking a little Okie with him. I feel bad that he's a suffering Panthers fan like I am, but, hey, like I said, it's time to go after Dale Talon, bro. It's time. That's it.
You know what he might have accomplished over the 10 years?
What's that?
I hear that he's a big-time golfer. I wonder if he's lowered his handicap.
Well, he's had plenty of great weather to do it, much better than Chicago over the last 10 years. Lord knows he'd be able to do that. Don't forget that Toyota of Hollywood is a proud sponsor of our program, the #1 volume sales dealership when it comes to Toyotas in the Southeast United States now, 6 years in a row. They got a 400,000 square foot facility with over 1,500 cars and trucks. Go see Herbie, go see Eddie. The man, the myth, the legend that is Steve Ostrov. He runs it all out there. He does a great job. You could tell Steve and everybody else out there, whenever you go out there, tell them, hey, I'm out here because Big O told me you guys are going to give me the best deal on a Toyota vehicle. They'll even make your payments until 2021. They've got 0% financing for 72 months. So many different great programs out there. So get on down to 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood and tell them that Big O sent you. It's Toyota of Hollywood. All right, so we thank Ian Margul for joining us. Mark Perry is going to join us from XFL News Hub at 12:30. We got a bunch of things that I want to get to here on the program. We got a little Panthers there out of the way. Today, the Panthers will play at 4 o'clock against the Sharks on the road. They've lost 7 of 9. Wednesday, they're at Anaheim. Thursday, they're at the Kings. Saturday, they're in Vegas. And next Tuesday, they're in Arizona to wrap up this West Coast swing, which probably should be the swing that just buries them. And people can stop the silliness about talking about the playoffs. Like this is a kind of team that's going to make some kind of an impact in the playoffs. Think about how asinine that is. We're going to talk about this team in the playoffs. Really. You're expecting this Panther team to do something. Come on, man. Come on. Enough already with the crap. So. Got a bunch of stuff that we want to talk about in hour number 2. I want to get into a little Dolphins talk. I saw where Armando Salguero wrote about Justin Herbert. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll clear that up ourselves, talking some about that. We'll talk a little bit about the XFL also in hour number 2, leading up to Mark Perry's segment to talk a little XFL. Which looking forward to that segment. And again, I don't know how many of you are watching the XFL at all. I'm just wondering because for me, I'm enjoying it. I think it's actually fun. Attendance went up this week. The Seattle crowd was crazy. They had 29,000 in the Seattle crowd. Defenders had 15,000. Wildcats had 14,797, almost 15. And the Roughnecks had 17,103. Week 1, they had 69,000 fans. Week 2, they had 76,000 fans. So it went up. Now, obviously, the Seattle one helped out a lot, but still attendance went up overall for the XFL. I don't know what the ratings were. Those numbers probably come in today, but that was pretty cool. So we'll get into that in hour number 2. The Heat's next game will be on Thursday when they visit the Hawks. That's kind of how they wrap up their road swing that they were on. It was a West Coast, but it kind of ends up in the East Coast with Atlanta on Thursday. So the boys will be able to take the court and start the second half of the season. We'll see how strong they finish so they can figure out what playoff spot they have. Or we're going to also figure out what kind of playoff team they are. Because the Heat are a playoff team. The question is, what kind of playoff team are they? Is what we got to figure out now. You know what I mean? And it'll be interesting to see how much more does the All-Star experience help or hurt Bam Adebayo. Now, I'm going to go with the first part. I don't think it'll be the latter because I don't think he's wired that way. Bam is not the guy that's going to get a big head because you tell him he's great. He's going to stay, with his nose to the, to the ground or whatever and just grinding or whatever.
To the grindstone.
Yeah, there you go, to the grindstone, whatever that saying is. That's who he is. He's the lunch pail dude. And that's what I expect. And I think the experience for Bam being at the All-Star game is a monster positive. And I think it also gives him even more confidence. And I think he'll feed off of that in a way like he did with the U.S. national team when he was cut. And he didn't take it in a bad way or anything like that. He went to work, and he has made himself an all-star. Winning the skills competition, I think people also open their eyes, and they're getting to know who Bam Adebayo is around the league. I think that was really important. I think the general fan gets to find out who the hell Bam Adebayo is. And it's been a real fun ride to watch this young man grow into an all-star. You know, it's when you're the Zion Williamson type, it's almost like you're almost expected to be an all-star. And so the first year they're just putting you in the rookie challenge because that's who you are. But it's like you're already being groomed to be in the all-star game next year, just like John Morant. Those are two guys that, like, they're coming into the league and they're taking it by storm, and they'll be immediately catapulted to all-star status. Whereas Bam Adebayo gets taken right around the middle of the round, and he's a guy that looks athletic, because he is, and then raw. And so now you've got to kind of refine all of that. And the Heat have done a phenomenal job of refining, like they always do. But Bam Adebayo deserves most of the credit because he has dedicated himself. Just like any player under the Heat organization. The Heat will give you the guidance. They'll tell you what you need to do. Now it's up to you. You know, do you want to be Dion Waiters? Or do you want to be, Tyler Hero? Do you want to be Bam Adebayo, or do you want to be Hassan Whiteside? It's up to you. How you want to handle your conditioning, how professional you want to be. And that's the beauty of Bam. The professionalism that he brings to the table at this age is extremely impressive. And I think that this experience in the All-Star game, it will lift him even more because he didn't play a lot of minutes, like I told you earlier in the program. That will motivate him too, because now he knows he belongs. He probably in his mind always thought he belongs. He probably in his mind thought he'd get there, and he's there. Now he wants to then become even better. This is one of those guys that's wired the right way. That's why Giannis picked him, because Giannis sees a lot of him in Bam Adebayo. And again, please don't go crazy here. I'm not telling you Bam is Giannis. I'm just telling you that Bam is the kind of guy that people gravitate to because you respect hard work. You respect dedication. You respect professionalism. And that kid displays all of that, man. He's awesome. He is awesome, and as a fan, it's been an honor to watch him play this way. And I think you will see an even better Bam down the stretch this regular season here. And I think that's going to be a good thing, obviously, for the Miami Heat. Pretty cool.
In the long run, we might have to go back and thank the Olympic team for sending him home.
Yeah.
Ever since then, this guy's got a different, agenda.
Well, if you remember on one of my rants, that was the deal, that this was going to be a positive of getting cut from this because that's how he's wired. He's not the guy that's going to sit there and whine and complain, you didn't pick me, you're an idiot, this, that, I am the greatest. That No.
Oh, I'm not good enough? You don't want me? Yeah.
Mouth shut. Going to go to work. I'll shut you up by being on the court dominating. That's what he did. And then and don't you think that Popovich now has even more respect for him? Popovich now will go out of his way to see where he's at in his game, how he's doing. And then the next time around, Popovich will apologize and say, hey, man, I'm really proud of you the way you did it. And that's a Heat player, man. That's a Heat player.
Didn't Popovich say that?
Oh, yeah.
We probably didn't look at him the right way.
Oh, yeah, he admitted it.
Screwed up. We probably should have given him a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. He already displayed it. And again, big on Popovich's part to go out there publicly and say, I screwed up with that guy. I should have brought him. I should have kept him here on this team. And now they're realizing, and that's good, man. All of this is really, really good for the Miami Heat. I love what I saw from Bam Adebayo. All right, 1 hour down. We've got 3 more to go. And this hour coming up, Mark Perry from XFL News Hub will join us at 12:30. We'll talk a little Inter Miami CF at 1:30. Franco Panizo is going to join us from SBI Soccer. So we'll have a little fun with Franco. Good young man. I saw him. He reminded me how old I am because he grew up in South Florida, but he moved out, and then he's been covering MLS teams. And so now he's moved back into town. SBI Soccer has put him on the beat to cover Inter Miami. So when I met him and I introduced myself, he goes, "Hey, bro, I grew up in South Florida. I know who you are. You're a legend." And I was like, "Dude, thanks for telling me I'm freaking." Because legend doesn't mean anything, really. It just means you've been around for a long, long time. You're old. That's all Franco reminded me of. That, hey, yo, I know who you are, dude. You're as old as dirt. You've been on radio for 30 years. You know, that kind of stuff. So we'll have Franco on. Great kid. We'll talk to him. He knows his stuff, too, man. Knows his soccer. 2:30, Pedro Gomez. He knows his baseball. Pedro also a South Florida guy from back in the day. But, of course, he's been on the West Coast for most of his life. So we'll have some fun with Pedro. He's out in the West Coast covering spring training and covering this baseball scandal. So we'll get his thoughts on all of that. Absolutely loaded show for you. When we come back, we'll talk a little Dolphins. We'll switch gears there. Armando Salguero wrote about the Heat interested in Justin Herbert. We'll get into that next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty. See you at the Seminole Hard Rock. Meatloaf is coming. Bat the Musical at the Hard Rock Live for 12 nights, April 7th through the 19th. Little bat out of hell, baby. I like it. I like it. Welcome back. We take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, Henry Kinkle says, my 2 favorite radio hosts, Big O and Scott Farrell, are no longer on radio, both screwed by the same company. Actually, Farrell does CBS Radio, dude. Why? Last time Farrell's no longer on CBS Radio? And by the way, Henry, I didn't get screwed. Okay, just so you'll know, my brother. I am doing way better than anything I was doing at QAM. The best thing, okay, I got to tell you something, okay? The best thing that ever happened to me was Len Weiner telling me that we are moving on. We're going to have another show in January, which they changed months later, obviously, because they don't know what the hell they're doing over there. That's why Joe Rose's show is the only thing left on QAM. Brother, Len Weiner couldn't find his asshole with a funnel. Do you understand? I wouldn't work for that clown or those fools ever. All right? I knew I was getting fired for 11 months. For 11 months. I told my producer then, Solana, I said, yo, that guy's firing me. He goes, why? And I go, bro, I know what he's doing. I see it. He waited 11 months right before my contract, well, for the option year to pick up, so he let me go. And let me tell you something. When he said that, I looked at him and I said, I appreciate it, man. I knew this was coming 11 months ago. Thank you. I told him, thank you. Okay? He did me a favor. All right? Now, I made a huge mistake right after, but whatever. I've overcome that, obviously. And then this has turned into a blessing. Okay? A monster blessing. You guys are downloading this show like it's going out of freaking style. We are getting great support, the kind of support that we're going to grow this thing even more. So we'll be fine, okay? We probably have more listeners on this show and this podcast than they do on some of the shows on 790 and 560, okay? So I'm not worried about that at all. You support, you watch, you listen, you download. Please support our sponsors because obviously we cannot survive without our sponsors. But sponsors want to support us. You guys are supporting us. Some of you out there, you have totally the wrong attitude about it. I have been freed. I get to do what I want. I get to do the show. You guys get the show, the content. I mean, put it this way, Henry. Would you rather hear me on QAM where 27 to 31 minutes of the hour is commercials? The rest is talk. Where here, maybe we break for 4 or 5 minutes in an hour. I get to talk about whatever, and nobody's going to tell me not to talk about it. Okay? So trust me when I keep telling you guys, I couldn't be happier. I feel terrible for some of our brothers and sisters in the media that have been released by the same company or others around, and maybe they haven't, tried this kind of option, or they can or whatever. This is a terrible business. But the beauty of where we're at now in this world is that I'm allowed now, because we are in an on-demand world where most of the time you get home, it's your Netflix and Amazon Prime and YouTube and Hulu and all that stuff. You're not watching live TV. You're barely listening to live radio anymore. Even when it's your music, you either go to like Sirius, because they have very little commercials to none, or you go to iTunes or something like that. You don't even listen to FM radio that much anymore. Why? Because a half hour of it is commercials. So radio is dying. Terrestrial radio is a terrible business. It's terrible for the sponsor. It's terrible for the listener. It's terrible for the employee. Why do I want to work in that environment? And also, you know what it is to work with people that don't know anything about this business? Like the boss that runs the programming, that clown's never been on radio, never had any success with radio, never ever done a radio show. That's the problem. That too many people that have no talent are in charge of this, and they can't do this job. That's why I'm on here, and then I'm on Sirius tonight, because I can do the damn job, and I can do a really good job overall. And not because I'm full of myself or any of that crap. It's because I see what's there. I know. So I appreciate all of you out there. I love all of you out there for supporting me. But please don't ever think that I got screwed. That was the biggest favor in the world they did to me, because they freed me, and now I get to kick their ass, which is a beautiful thing. Okay? I mean, I'm telling you, I could not be more happy. All right? I can go to East West Shrine if I feel like it. I don't got to answer to them. I can put on, you know how many players we had at the East West Shrine on? Do you know the program director would have stopped me from putting on the Princeton quarterback? He would have stopped me from putting on the center, the guard, guys that he wouldn't know, because at the East West Shrine, there aren't a lot of big names there. He would have said, no, do a talk show while you're out there. No, dude, I'm doing a draft show. You don't like it? Too bad. Well, guess what? Now I get to do it. Now I'm doing a draft show in Vegas for 3 straight days, every pick. You think I can do that at QAM? They'll barely even do the first round, those clowns. Why? Because that's the way it is. And they don't take your phone calls. Eventually, we're going to get to that point where we'll have your phone calls. But look, if I don't have your phone calls, you send me tweets, you send me posts, don't I read them? Don't we exchange that way? They don't do that for you. They don't even connect with the fan, with the listener. Trust me, this is the best thing that can happen to any listener that likes our show. If you don't like our show, then hey, bless you, man. Go for it. Go, find another show, and that's great, and I hope you're happy with it. Those of you that do like our show and like what we do, this is the best thing that there is. Okay, and Bill works his ass off every day to podcast the entire show, hours, segments, rants, interviews, breaking it all down. So that way, if you only want to hear about Inter, that's all. You only want to hear Franco and me talk about Inter? Go ahead. You only want to hear Ian and me talk about the Panthers? Go ahead. You want to hear me talk about the Dolphins? Go ahead. We want to take care of you. That's what every time I tell him, I say, we have to design this for you. Okay? So let's break it down all the way, because somebody may only want to hear about Marlins. Somebody may only want to hear Panthers. Somebody may only want to hear MMA, whatever I'm doing, because I talk about all of it. Doesn't matter to me. And I don't have to answer to anybody. So as long as you guys keep giving us the thumbs up on YouTube, as long as you guys subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to our podcast, download our podcast, and what we've got coming up, which I'm telling you, it's going to be pretty cool. Trust me, this is the greatest thing that can happen to South Florida sports radio, period. Not me, but what's coming. Okay? So, trust me, we're good, man. We could not, Henry, we could not be better. Let's see, 5 sports talk channels down here that I get in Broward, 560, 640, 790, 940, and they all suck. Nothing to listen in the car. Henry, you can listen to us in the car. Just listen on the YouTube channel for now. I am going to have a listen live line very soon. We're working on it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Miguel Garcia, any big names for Inter Miami this season? For a good start, we need a good player. Well, the Ulova or whatever, the guy that scored on Saturday, that guy's a pretty good player. That guy's a heck of a player. So you should check him out. Dougie Fresh says, "Oh, morning to you and Bill. Well, what's the shirt? Oh, the shirt is Canes, baby. See, this is Canes. That's all it is. It's the 5 titles. There you go. Let's see, what else do we have here? Not to get personal, but why did he fire you? Brother, because I didn't want to do their kind of radio. Me and him were, forget it. You're constantly questioning me what I do, and I've been doing it for 30 years. You know what I mean? It's like you're a jag that just got here a few years ago in this town. You've never been on radio. You don't know anything. Len Weiner's Len Weiner's a clown, bro. He knows nothing. But that's fine. Look, that's why that company's where it's at. It was like at $15, and now it's like at $4. They're headed for bankruptcy. Intercom moved into a building that they don't have enough money to run the damn building. You realize that. It's a beautiful building, but it's like it's crap inside. They don't have, when something breaks, they don't have a part to replace. Have you noticed that they go off the air all the time? They have troubles with their phone lines. They have everything. It's a disaster because it's a disaster of a company. They run all their promotions at their headquarters, not here in South Florida. Sales, everything, headquarters. So they're not even a company that's local. They have a couple people on the mics locally, but the companies all run nationally. It's weird, man. They have no concept of local radio. It's like really, it's but I'm glad. Let them keep screwing up radio. Bro, Lebitard's leaving soon from there. Rose will be retiring soon. They're done. It's just, it's such a joke. Okay? Whatever. Let's see. A guy says, what was the mistake? 12-10. Yes. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, you run into more no-talent clowns. User Tom, Big O is the best. There is the best. Whatever the best will be. Well, thank you. That's too kind of you, but I appreciate it. Lakeisha says, good afternoon. Thank you, Lakeisha. Good afternoon. Tim Supley says, love this show. I was listening to Joe Rose earlier and yuck commercials galore and BS. It's like G-rated sports talk. Meanwhile, Big O is for the fan, takes care of the truth in all areas. That's what I can't do at QAM. Do you think I can say Dale Talon needs to be fired? Do you think I could go after Dale Talon on QAM?
They'd cut your show off
Yeah,
right in the
course.
middle of it, and you'd be fired.
Yeah. They didn't want me to say that Adam Gase and Mike Tannenbaum should be fired. Remember that? Remember when I was saying it all last year? I said, hey, you got to fire Mike Tannenbaum, you got to fire Adam Gase, and put Chris Greer in place. They told me to stop going after the Dolphins. You know? They were uncomfortable. That dude has no balls. I could not go after teams because they're associated with the station. He has that Heat mentality because the Heat in 790, and they've been there for a while, so then when they purchased the QAM, they have that same mentality. They don't want you to really go after the teams and all that because they get all personal, you know? The Dolphins have grown up a little bit now. They've got there's some pubics growing on it, but they're not fully grown yet. Now, unlike the Canes, the Canes are the most sensitive group out there. Oh, yeah, they freak out too. You know how much they busted the QAM's balls because I would go after Al Golden? Oh, my Lord. Do you know how much they lost it when I went after Al Golden at the ACC weekend? The media thing? Remember when I got Al Golden and I roasted him right in front of me? They hated that, bro. They went after the station like, how could he do this and all that? Well, that's because that's what you're supposed to do. When you're not getting the job done. Notice, I never go after a coach that doesn't deserve it. You know? All the coaches I've gone after, they end up getting fired. I wonder why. You know? Let's see. Big O. So, Inter Miami CF is going to play in Fort Lauderdale Stadium for 2 years. I say 3, dude. I say 3. That's my prediction. How about that? That's no insight, no nothing. I'm just telling you. Let's do the math, Alex. They're playing this year already, right? It starts next month, correct? Have they started on any construction in Miami? Have they started dredging out anything? No. So before you get to even doing anything, you got to get approval. You haven't gotten approval yet. You got to start cleaning out that park and cleaning out the lake, and then you can start construction. So do you think they're going to be able to do all of that by the end of this season? No. So by the end of next season, probably? No. I say 3 years. I say they play 3 years in Fort Lauderdale when it's all said and done. And then they will move down to Miami. Orlando, you're officially a trailblazer in the sports talk industry. That's what Jay says. I don't know about that, my brother. You know what I am, Jay? I'm just a grinder. I'm a survivor. I'm a guy that I only know one thing, and that's forward, man. You know, forward, positive, work it, and passionate. That's it. That's all I know. And then I let the chips fall where they may. That's all I do. Nothing really, really special. What I do on radio is what a lot of you guys and ladies out there do every day in your life. Same thing. Nothing different. And I try to be as brutally honest as I can about all of this stuff. Dougie Fresh says, music question. What female rock singers are out there these days? Anyone even close to Ann Wilson? Bro. Come on, man. All right, hey, there's a lot of singers out there. Anybody close to Freddie Mercury? Come on, bro. Come on. Now, I'll tell you this. Maria Blank, I think it is, from In This Moment has got a great voice. He was able to see her live. She's fantastic. Dorothy. I love Dorothy. She's got this bluesy rock-type voice. And it's just like I said, Dorothy. Awesome. You want a great voice? Lizzie Hale, baby. Hailstorm. Go on YouTube and listen to Lizzie, L-Z-Z-Y, or Hailstorm, and you'll hear her sing her own songs. Catch her doing Adele one day on stage, okay? You know the size of the balls you got to have to sing Adele? Like, you don't sing Adele. You don't sing Whitney Houston. Like, don't ever touch a Whitney Houston song, okay? I mean, Adele's another stage. Whitney Houston's the ultimate level, okay? Like, those kind of women, like, don't even try, okay? You better have the voice if you're going to even try to attempt to do anything like that. Lizzie Hale can do it. Lizzie Hale's got incredible range. So there you go.
What was the song in concert with the green, that had the green beams, and she did it live, and it was incredible. I mean, it blew away her recorded version.
Oh, yes.
The live was amazing, man.
Yes.
Where she was able to carry the notes and the length of carrying those notes and where she was going, that right there was the sealer for me.
Yes.
Like, wow.
Yeah, Lizzie is at another level, bro. She is awesome. Jay says check out Beth Hart, especially her work with Joe Bonamassa. Beth Hart is actually very good. Nice job by you. Well, you know your music, Jay. I know that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Myron Sanchez. Oh, I remember when I told you to start a podcast right after QAM. And you know what, Myron? I should have done it then. We would have been a whole year in. We would have been already. We're pacing for 2 million downloads in our first year. I shouldn't be bragging about the numbers because I don't want to give us any bad luck. But I mean, the numbers that we're doing are just awesome. We're about to cross the million mark soon. So yes, I should have listened to you, Myron. But I really love the concept of what I was going to do at 12:10. But unfortunately, wrong people, obviously, to do it with. Clearly. Gabriel Cruz says, same old Florida Panthers over the weekend, Big O. What a surprise. Yes, we talked about that earlier, Gabriel. You got to check it out in the first hour of the program. We covered that. Alex says, I am not sold on Herbert. I think Love is better. Love is more raw than Herbert, but I'm with you. I like Love over Herbert. Let's see. Tim says, Big O, you scared off this cupcake I work with your brutal honesty about the truth about Tannehill. Oh yeah, but I guess that cupcake also learned his lesson, right? Hey, I've been doing this for years. Okay, I tell you the brutal honesty. You don't want to face it, but then when it does happen, that's it. Then you're like, oh man, he was right. So I get it all the time. It's been, you know how much this has happened in 30 years? 30 years. Because I'm rarely wrong about the Dolphins. Okay? Maybe guessing how many games they're going to win exactly, yeah, that's easy, I guess. But when it comes to this guy is good or that guy's not or this coach or that general manager, I'm rarely ever wrong about any of that stuff. I follow it passionately. But, hey, look, man, people were still falling for the Ryan Tannehill crap this year. They still didn't see it. Just like Lamar Jackson. They're all going crazy about it, and they're not really seeing what's going on. Whatever, man. You can tell when the guy is a real quarterback and when he's not. And he's more of a gimmick, and he has to rely on certain things in order for his game to work. It is what it is. And I never talked about the Dolphins like I wanted to. I went a half hour just answering questions and talking about the crazy business of radio, which it's dying. And I got to tell you something. This is the best. I mean, think about this. If you've listened to the show in the last 6 months and you get to watch me every day. That's something you weren't able to do either on QA. They're too cheap to even put you on camera. Okay? Anyway, which in today's world you should be always on camera. But it's just one of those things that when you are involved in it, you get to see the developments of it. And to me, look at my attitude. Look at me the last 6 months. I'm a different person because I don't have the pressures of the people above me trying to tell me how to do my job when I know how to do my job. I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. Okay? And that's why at times, if you noticed, I would be on edge at times a little bit. Yeah, I'll admit it. There's no doubt. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean,
not you.
Well, think about this. Think about this. You go to work knowing you're going to get fired every day for 11 months. You try working like that. I think some of you might have experienced that. But let me tell you, when you got to talk and it's your emotions, when you got to work behind the scenes and you're quiet or whatever, that's fine. But it's when you're out in the open and you clearly know you got some jerk ball that is just doing everything and scheming behind you. It's not fun, man. It's not fun. It's not at all. That's why when he did it, I was like, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I knew this was coming already. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can move on with my life. Because I'm not the woe is me guy. Oh, I lost my job. Oh, I'm this and that. No, man. No. You strap it on and let's go, baby. All right? Let's go. Overcome. That's what you do in this business, in this world. You don't succumb to it, especially to wimps like that don't know anything about you're going to let them decide your fate? Don't let anybody decide your fate. Screw that. All right, Mark Perry from XFL News Hub. We're going to switch a little gears here, baby. We'll talk all about the XFL next. Let me tell you about VSS West Pines. Jose and all the great people out there. 12397 Pembroke Road. Hookahs starting at $19.99 and up. CBD, you're looking for something to put you to sleep so you can get your mind off of all kinds of crap like I used to have. Tinctures to help you also sleep. It also helps for anxiety. It helps for all kinds of, they've got it also for your pets too. So if you got some of your dogs or cats that are a little bit, wound tight, that'll relax them. That'll chill them out. The thunder, the fireworks, whatever it is they've got to deal with, CBD will help out. Edibles, women's face masks, transdermal patches. They've got it all for you at VSS West Pines. They've got all kinds of rolling paper, too, a wide variety from raw and smoking brands. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. 12397 Pembroke Road. Visit them on Instagram and Facebook, VSS West Pines. And when we come back, we talk a little XFL with Mark Perry next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Metallica, headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. Go to welcometorocvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All righty, yes, sir. We're back. going to talk a little XFL now. I promised you Mark Perry from XFL News Hub would be joining us. I've been watching the first 2 weeks of the XFL. Mark Perry works for XFL News Hub, so follow them on Twitter at XFL News Hub. You can get all the news, the recaps, all kinds of stuff. They do a nice little recap with their videos, too, from the game. And then, of course, you can come get the point spreads here because so far, Mark, we're 6-3 against the number in the first 2 weeks in the XFL, baby. What do you think about that? Huh? 6-3?
Yeah, I mean, that. Now, are you picking the under on basically every game? Because the XFL was considered to be this big offensive league and throw up lots of points. You know, maybe you're 30-something to 40-something, and it's all been basically like 20 points, 30 points tops.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Unless we're talking about the Houston game, that one went a little higher than average. But actually, in the first week, I went with all the dogs, so I went 3-1. And then this week, I took the under in the DC game, so you read my mind. I won that. I took the DC minus 5.5. I won that. I took Seattle +2, won that. But I lost LA +3.5, and I lost Houston +7. But damn, I lost those games right at the end. I almost had those games too, man, right there. So I got to tell you, and let me say something. The LA game was fun as hell yesterday. That was an entertaining game.
I mean, what's so cool about the XFL and makes it so different from the NFL is that these games, even if your team is down 10 or 12 points with, 3 minutes to go, I mean, they could score a touchdown and then do a 3-point conversion, and then they're right back in the game, and the 2-minute clock stops all the time.
Yes.
So there's, unlike the NFL, so they're not burning timeouts or kneeling the ball. I mean, it could come down to the wire, and that's what's made these games so much fun to watch, and fans are really starting to get excited about the league going forward.
Yeah, no, listen, attendance went up this week. I know the Seattle crowd kind of helped it out a little bit with 29,000. It really they've got to be one of our top 3 sports towns because and how they lost the NBA obviously with the whole issues with Key Arena was crazy, but I mean the support for the Sounders is nuts. Obviously the Seahawks, even the Mariners suck and they still get pretty good support. And it was a really smart move by the XFL to put a team in Seattle because obviously number 1 in attendance right now.
Well, watch out because St. Louis Battlehawks, I'm hearing reports that we're getting into that 25 to 30,000 range. I mean, St. Louis wants to make a statement to the NFL like, hey, you shouldn't have moved this franchise from us. We are a good sports town, and they're a fantastic sports town too.
Yeah.
I mean, with, the Cardinals, they love their Cardinals out there. And, I mean, that's another, the St. Louis Blues. I mean, that's a good sports town. And they're talking they could have similar numbers than Seattle did.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Which is great for the league. I mean, I was at the DC Defenders game. I've been at both games. The first one was 17,000. This next one, I was like, I don't know, maybe 13,000 will be good. They had over 15,000. And here's the kicker. It was a Saturday afternoon, and the high was like 37 degrees, 32 degrees. I mean, we were freezing, and the place was still packed, at 15,000. And I was like, hey, if you're doing 15,000, I mean, at 32 degrees, 33 degrees, 35 degrees-ish, what's it going to be like in March and April when it actually starts to get nice out and more people get involved with the league and are checking out the betting aspect of it, seeing that the product isn't garbage. I mean, the AAF struggled, the original XFL struggled when the product on the field was bad, but I haven't really heard anybody complain that, hey, the play is really sloppy.
No, it's not. It's been solid, man. It's been entertaining. The way, obviously, McMahon behind it is a genius. They market it well. They look good. They have good broadcasters on there. They have innovative things that they're doing that adds a little drama. I mean, dude, Matt McGloin losing his freaking mind this weekend. And it was great because on one day you see McGloin lose his mind, and then you see Landry Jones play like crap. but handle it like a total freaking pro. Make no excuses and say, hey, man, I just got to play better. I got to make better throws. And sure enough, towards the end of the game, he made the throws he had to make, and they ended up winning the game. But it was a nice contrast on how one guy was panicking and losing his freaking mind when, by the way, McGloin was just making some terrible passes. You can tell me whatever the call is. You may agree or not agree, but they were terrible passes. Meanwhile, here's Landry Jones making the terrible passes, but handling it the right way. And the drama behind both, I thought, was a real cool contrast for the league.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, Landry Jones wound up being the first 300-yard passer in XFL history. Granted, it's only week 2.
Right.
But, yeah, he stepped it up towards the end. I mean, this is just the aspect of the game is just so different from what we're used to in college and NFL. And one of the recent things that have really interested me is the replay guys with their Xbox controllers.
Yes.
Like, now I'm, like, recognizing the replay guys, and that part of the game to me is so fascinating to watch because a lot of fans watch games and they think they know all the rules. I mean, I've been at high school games where people are yelling about rules, that are completely ridiculous. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, that is not a penalty in any form of football whatsoever. Now, this gives fans the opportunity to see the decision-making they go through. And you can't really complain as a fan because you're like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
The way they see it, and you're hearing that conversation going back and forth. So, like, these replay guys who were, completely no one knew who they were, now they're on TV all the time. And it's funny, I wonder if people approach them and they're like, hey, are you one of those replay guys in the XFL? Like, how's it working with the Xbox controller? I mean, and it just makes and watching the game just take it to another level, including, having these guys.
Hey, the transparency,
brother.
On
the field.
We
some
appreciate
of it,
that. As fans, we appreciate transparency, and we like to see that.
Now, some of the reporters, I mean, I'm like, okay, how many times can you go to the quarterback and ask him, how the game is going? Like, okay, you've gone to the well a little too much. But, getting these guys right after they make a play or kickers who miss field goals and ask them what happens, I mean, it's just been they've definitely suited the game towards the television audience as well. And I definitely think the NFL is absolutely watching, and they're going to take some of these ideas, I think, in the next year.
Well, hey, listen, every level, Mark, and we're talking with Mark Perry, by the way, from XFL News Hub. Follow them on Twitter at XFL News Hub. If you're following the XFL, it's a great follow. Mark, the kickoff has to be instituted in high school, college, and the NFL. That's a genius kickoff. It eliminates the brutal collisions, yet the excitement that if you block it right, you can pop it and take it all the way to the house. Whoever came up with that in the XFL, that person is a genius. I love it. Let's implement it at every level for safety purposes, yet still keeps the excitement in it. I love it, man.
Yeah, I'm waiting for one of them to pop one out and go all the way because it changes the strategy too. Because there was, before it was like, oh, you had to create a wedge, and we've seen guys like almost break it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting things that the XFL did that they wanted to implement was the halo rule on the punt, and they got that from the CFL, and they tried it over the summer. They used the spring league as a league that players pay into and get their scouts from the NFL and CFL come there, and the XFL partnered with them to test some of these things. And they tried the halo rule, which in the punting world in the CFL is basically the players have to give a 5-yard buffer to allow the punter to catch the ball. But American players just could not get that concept going. So they actually had to scrap that and go with the traditional punt. But now, I mean, you have to punt it inbounds. And those are exciting plays. I mean, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I remember Jacoby Jones in the run for the Super Bowl. I mean, those were memorable plays that helped the Ravens win the Super Bowl that year. And then now in the NFL, they cut it all out. And it's just like, why do you even bother doing it? They're just kicking it out of the end zone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I think it was the LA kid, the returner. He was a little chunky running back. If he had a little more speed, he might have broken one this weekend. The only thing is they ended up catching him because he didn't really have the separation. But, man, he got a couple of really good returns. I believe it was the LA Wildcats returner, the one. Now, let me tell you, the guy that's been a lot of fun, must-see TV, is P.J. Walker, man. P.J. Walker's been a blast to watch. 6 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, Mark. Excellent play by him.
Well, what's interesting is, so in the XFL draft, they had their tier 1 quarterbacks, and P.J. Walker was a tier 1 guy. So that's guys that weren't involved in their draft pool that they just got assigned to a specific team. Landry Jones was one, Cardell Jones was another. But then Houston, with their first pick in their draft, took Connor Cook as a quarterback. So all of us guys were like, well, I guess there is a QB controversy because, they didn't take a wide receiver. They didn't take a running back. They took another quarterback. They were the only teams to do it. And P.J. Walker, you watch him play, and you're like, how is this guy not starting in the NFL? I mean, his throws, running around the field, making plays with his legs. I mean, absolutely, he is a star in this league, about to burst and come out. And what the interesting thing is, you have these haters out there in social media world, like I'll throw out, Mike Florio is not a fan of the XFL. And they criticize the league. Well, you need to pay $2 million or $3 million to have these stars, to get better quarterback play. And the XFL is not interested in your Johnny Manziel, your Colin Kaepernick. They don't need them because Vince McMahon knows how to build stars. Think of The Rock, think of John Cena. They build them from within. And the XFL is building stars that are going to translate into the NFL. And we'll see these guys in the NFL, I think, next year. P.J. Walker, for his financial benefit, I hope he goes to the NFL and gets some playing time. But watching him in the XFL has been great.
Yeah, he has been a lot of fun to watch. And I would imagine somebody is going to offer that young man a contract in the NFL and give him an opportunity in training camp to go out and prove himself. I have to think that that's going to happen here when the offseason ends for the XFL. And again, that would be a coup for them to be able to do that. And I think that this league, in a way, should try to find more of those young, unproven, untested type athlete guys that haven't gotten that opportunity to come to this league. Because, if you go for the Tim Tebow or you go for the Johnny Manziel, it's obvious what you're doing there. You're just trying to bring people in. This way, you're trying to find raw football players that you can develop. And then, if PJ does get a shot in the NFL, that becomes a huge shot in the arm for the XFL, period.
Oh, yeah. Now some people might say, well, P.J. Walker, he's a system quarterback because he's with June Jones, and June Jones guys pick up, throw the ball all over the place. But if you watch him, he's making the throws. That sidearm throw that he hit in the end zone. And, why not? And this guy was a practice squad player for the Colts for years. And it was Andrew Luck who went to his father, Oliver Luck, who's the CEO and commissioner, and said, you need to put this guy in the XFL. He's that good. He's just not getting an opportunity in the NFL, and he has made the most of it.
Somebody's asking, they want to ask you, every XFL fan seems to be different. How does the fan experience differ from NFL games? I can tell you one thing. At the NFL games, they won't allow you to make a beer tower like they did on Saturday, baby. That was a legendary beer tower they made.
Yeah, we were taking pictures of it, and then that was all. It was on SportsCenter, and I was at the game watching it being created, and with my brother, and I was like, "Is this a story? Are we gonna have to write something about this beer tower?" And then it was on ESPN, and we were like, "All right, I guess we have to write a story." But I've been to Ravens games for years and years and years, and at least in the DC Defenders, people are having a good time. Everybody is, very cool, and everybody's excited about the league. I've been to NFL games with the Ravens, and I love my Ravens, but people are just hammered at these games and not even paying attention. And the thing is, the XFL game moves so quickly, so they try to get you in and out in 3 hours.
Right.
And then if you figure, you cut off beer sales after the third quarter, there's not that much time, and there's not much time to go to the bathroom. Half times are only 10 minutes long. And there's no smoking, for example, in Audi Field. So, I mean, you're there to basically watch the game, because if you leave to go grab a couple beers and get some food, you're missing a lot of the game. Yeah. But the atmosphere has been good. They have stuff and DC is kind of unfortunate because there's no tailgating areas like in some of the other cities, but there's bars around the area and they do a lot to accommodate the fans. So if you haven't been to an XFL game, you should definitely check it out while the ticket prices are cheap.
Yeah,
because they're going to go up as the success of the league goes up.
Yeah, let's hope that's what happens. Do we know attendance went up, which is a new thing for all these kind of leagues? Normally, attendance goes down and interest goes down. Do we know any? I haven't seen anything on the ratings. Did they go up a little bit this week? Because that would be really cool. Because as you know, Mark, look, as a football fan, obviously I love the NFL and love college football. But I've always been a fan of having a secondary league in the spring, and I've always wanted one of these leagues to survive. And I thought we were going to have it with the USFL when I was a kid, but unfortunately, we all know the story there. But in this case, this one might have a chance because, like they explained last time, when the XFL came around the first go-around, they had like 40-something days before when they announced it to when they started. These guys had 2 years to prepare for all of this, so now they're trying to build something that can sustain. Obviously, it's going to be important that they get attendance and they get ratings. Do we know anything about the ratings from this weekend?
No, I haven't heard anything about the ratings. Now, it'll be interesting because one of the games was on FS1, so that could impact things versus, being on ESPN, ABC, and Fox. Now, what I have heard is that Vince is looking – what will make the league successful is clearly ratings, and what he needs is about $125 million a year from broadcast partners. And if he can get that number, he has enough money in the bank for at least 2 to 3 years to sustain that, to sustain the league. And if he can get that from the broadcast partners, then the XFL is locked in and they're good to go. Now, I'm also a wrestling fan, and AEW was a competitor wrestling promotion for the WWE, and they started broadcasting on Wednesdays. And within the ratings were very successul for that wrestling promotion. And within a couple months, they renegotiated a new deal, and it was for 2 years, $40-something million or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the XFL goes, strong ratings to week 5, 6, that these broadcast partners are like, hey, we have a hit. And we need to lock these guys up because people like NBC, people like CBS will be like, hey, we could use this programming on Saturday and Sunday and get these kind of ratings.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm hoping. Mark Perry from XFL News Hub. Mark, since it's all new, the league, and tell them about your News Hub too. So if folks that are listening and watching are going to be downloading the show also, tell them about XFL News Hub and what do you guys provide covering the XFL?
So we started the day that Vince McMahon announced the XFL. I started XFLnewshub.com. And since then, we have over 10 paid reporters targeting each of the different locations. We talk about DFS. We talk about Fantasy XFL. We have a YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, the whole deal. We're the largest news provider of XFL news out there. And we go in deep, and we try to give the fans something that they won't generally get from an ESPN or CBS Sports, some of the other sites that are covering the XFL. And definitely we focus on, betting, and the DFS part has been a lot of fun to play on DraftKings. So that's kind of what we are. We are kind of like the pro football talk of the XFL world. We have insiders that, have broken stories that have appeared all over, ESPN and DraftKings and all these other places. So we're growing too with the league. So each weekend it's been very interesting. The first weekend, I'm sitting there monitoring all the traffic, and we had to upgrade our servers. We had to upgrade our databases and all sorts of stuff because the traffic that we were getting was just through the roof. And it was exciting, nerve-wracking because of trying to fix it as we're going. But yeah, I mean, that's what we provide is that fan. We're the super fan website of the XFL.
I love it. I love it. Mark Perry, he's the editor. XFL News Hub is the website. Follow them on Twitter at XFL News Hub. Mark, I'm sure we'll be doing it again, my brother. Thank you for taking some time and talking a little XFL.
All right, thank you. Anytime. You guys have a good one.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Mark Perry from XFL News Hub joining us here on the program. I like it, man. I'm enjoying it, but I'm a football nut. All right, so I like college football. I love the NFL. I love the draft, and with the XFL, it's the same thing. And let me tell you something. This PJ Walker kid, he's got a little some to him, and somebody is going to give him a shot and say, "Hey, I can work with this. This is an athletic quarterback. He can move around. He can throw the ball." He's elusive. That's something that's very important because obviously you don't want your quarterback I don't want him running a lot, but you want him running when he can run and be strategic with it like Russell Wilson. I don't want him running like Lamar Jackson. I want him running like Russell Wilson. Russell runs when there is no other option. I don't want it to be part of the offense. You're just asking for an injury at that point. And that's what eventually will happen to Lamar, unfortunately, if he does not learn how to stay in that pocket and beat people with his arm. This kid, P.J. Walker, he can make some plays, man. He's fun to watch. I'm telling you, if you at least watch P.J. Walker. And I saw, Myron say, sorry, the quarterbacks and all that. Quarterbacks are bad in the NFL. How many great quarterbacks are there in the NFL? So, of course, the XFL is going to have their issues, too. I mean, that's just the way it is. But there are moments, and there are some quarterbacks that are all right in this league. And I've watched some entertaining football. I can't say that I've sat there and I'm, bored watching the XFL.
Some good hits.
Yeah, dude. Yes, definitely. Good hits, good plays. A lot of good offensive plays, too. I'm fine with it, man. I'm fine with it. I think it's drama left and right. Watching former Kane Winston Moss run his team, and he had just fired the defensive coordinator, Pepper Johnson, the week before. And guess what? They lost this week, but they were much better defensively, way better defensively. Hell, the players – they asked him on the sidelines, like, hey, why are you guys, we're comfortable now. We're feeling good. We're making plays, all of that. So all that drama in there was good. I love the interviews. I love the interviews because you'll never get that in the NFL. You'll never get a guy being interviewed right after he misses a kick or throws an interception. You know what I mean? It's easy to get the guy after he throws a touchdown or hits a 50-yard field goal. Of course he's going to feel great. But in the middle of the tough moments, when they screw up and they put that mic in their face, that's classic, man.
No, they don't even get a chance to go to the locker room and collect their thoughts. And this is in the moment, instantaneous. What's in their head? What's their actual train of thought?
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I really do. We've got already 2 hours down. In hour number 3, Franco Panizo is going to join us at 1:30. We'll get a little Inter-Miami talk with him. I got to get into the Dolphins and Justin Herbert and Tua and all kinds of stuff. My boy Armando Salguero wrote an article in the Miami Herald. We'll talk about that. Are the Dolphins interested in Justin Herbert is the question. Are they? You tell me. Or how about this? I'll tell you when we come back on the other side. Now, let me tell you about Moody's Dental. I got my Invisaligns on. I get my next, I put on my next pair tomorrow, actually. I have it right here. I got my Invisaligns. How about that? We don't BS, man. This is my next one. And you have them. I put them on every week for 1 week. And yesterday it was pretty cool because I had them off for a moment because I brushed my teeth. I was eating, and then when you eat, sometimes you want to brush your teeth, right? Obviously, so I take them off to brush my teeth, and my wife looks at them. She goes, "Hey, they're moving a lot. They're straightening out," and I'm like, "Of course." This stuff is working, man, and it is awesome. The Invisaligns are implants. Go to Moodius Dental. You want to straighten out those teeth. You want to whiten those teeth. You want to fix the cavities. Whatever it is, you want to get a root canal. You need to get a crown. Call Moodius Dental, 305-821-0231. That's 305-821, 0231 for Moodius Dental. And again, they are your implant and Invisalign experts. Go to the website. Tell them that Big O sent you. Call Eric, and trust you. State-of-the-art equipment, MoodiusDental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorocktillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorocktillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are back here. We take it till 3. We've already crossed the halfway mark already. 2 hours on the program, and appreciate you, as always, tuning in, enjoying your some of you are enjoying a day off. Some of you are actually working like we are.
Based on traffic this morning, man, there's a lot of people off, brother.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, government jobs, they take up a lot of,
And for us.
And kids.
The school traffic.
Yeah.
Just
the
school
worst.
traffic.
The worst.
That is the biggest component.
The worst.
That kills the afternoon and morning drives.
The worst. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up while you're watching the broadcast. Also, share this YouTube link with your friends. Share it on text. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it everywhere. Tell folks about it so they can get real sports talk every single day here, South Florida style, even though we do cover all the national headlines and all that other stuff too. And, I mean, we don't have an XFL team, right? There you go. I mean, and we'll talk XFL too. We'll talk everything on this show. I don't shy away from sports. I'm a sports fan. I always love the dude. What was it? Yeah, one of you guys out there. Oh, I can't stand soccer. It's like, bro, telling me that you can't stand soccer doesn't help. Or telling me you hate hockey, I don't care. Or if you can't stand the XFL, that's your problem, not mine. Or if you don't like UFC, that's your issue, not mine. Or if you don't like baseball, that's your issue, not mine. I'm an all sports person. Period. I like all sports. I watch it all. I can talk it all. I enjoy it. That's how it is. So you guys, sometimes you want to complain, oh, why are you talking XFL? Why are you talking fantasy? Why are you talking baseball? Why are you talking soccer? Why? Because I talk it all. I get it. You don't like the Panthers. You don't like hockey. Sorry. Tune out for the moment. Then come back later if you want. It's all good. I get it. But complaining to me about the sport you don't like, it doesn't get, you're not going to stop me. I've been doing it for 30 years now. 30 years. So I'm not going to stop now. That way, the person that likes baseball will get some baseball here. The person that likes the XFL will get some here. And the person that likes the Panthers will get some here. Some shows will avoid all of those things, like they'll avoid your phone calls. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, have you heard what happened to, I don't even know who that is. Mark, what do you think of the reason the XFL succeeds or falls? My brother, it's all about entertainment. If you do enough to entertain, people will actually watch. And I think that right now you've got some people actually watching. There you go. Michael says, can't wait for Inter Miami to start. I'm with you, man. I can't wait for Inter Miami to start. I got my season tickets. I will be there for the opener. I'm ready, man. I'm ready for a little Inter Miami. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to go see the USL team play. I'm going to go see Miami FC right here. They're right here at FIU. They're in the USL. Ricardo Silva and the boys. I support all local soccer, man. I'm not. While I was working for the Miami FC, I would go over and support the United also. Over in Hialeah at Mylander. You know, that don't matter to me. I support all levels of soccer here locally. I'm a soccer nut. All right, so let's get into a little Dolphins talk. All right, because that's obviously been a big time topic out there, and a lot of people. I know Armando Salguero from the Miami Herald wrote an article about the Dolphins and talking about Justin Herbert. And listen, I told you guys this about a month ago, maybe more, that there is interest in the Dolphins front office in Justin Herbert. There's no doubt about that. Now, the question is, do they like Justin Herbert because they want to try to talk him up, and then while they're talking him up, is this the opportunity for them to try to entice other teams that maybe they will like Justin Herbert, and they'll take Herbert and Tua will move down to them at number 5? I don't think that's the case. I actually think they are thinking of Justin Herbert. Now, can I give you something twisted? Even though I'd rather have Jordan Love over Justin Herbert, I'd rather have the project, because with Jordan, you might have to work a little bit on his mechanics and some of his decisions, because that's what you saw at Utah State. With Justin, it's not really about that. It's more about his maturity and being able to handle a locker room of men. and be able to lead a group of men and handle adversity at the NFL level, which you're going to face a lot of it in the NFL. And so that's the question more with Justin Herbert. Here's what I got to also think with the Dolphins, and this is what you also have to think. If they feel that Jordan Love is too much of a project at number 5, which he is a project, don't kid yourself in any way, shape, or form. The guy's a project. He's not worthy of the number 5 pick. If you're taking him, it's because you're reaching for him and you are sure you're going to make him a franchise guy. I mean, you better be 100% sure. And there's some holes in his game. As much as I like him, I have to tell you, there's some holes in his game. I would take him at 18, but I would not take him at 5 because I'm passing up a left tackle that I know is going to start. I'm passing up something that I know a pass rusher, outside pass rushing linebacker, a shutdown corner. I'm passing something up at 5 that I know is a sure thing pretty much. Because at that point, you have some of those players there. So that's where I have a problem passing up for a project. And I get it. We're desperate for a quarterback. But here's where the Justin Herbert stuff actually makes a little sense. And this is coming from a guy that's not a big Justin Herbert guy, okay? But, again, you have to be objective about this. I, in no way, shape, or form, would ever take Tua. Okay? Let's understand that. All right? At 5, I would never take Tua. I think Tua is a sack of injuries. I think Tua is going to break down, and he is just going to piss you off, and you're going to then regret it, whoever drafts him, and you're going to say, well, yeah, this is what he was in college. That's what I'm afraid of. Hey, maybe the miracle of all miracles, after all of these surgeries and all of these injuries, the guy finds a way to stay healthy. I doubt it. But if it happens, so be it. You move on. You made the mistake. I just don't think it's going to be a mistake. I think it'll be a bigger mistake drafting him, thinking things are going to change. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Panthers. The Panthers are soft. The Panthers, they don't win on a consistent basis. They can't play defense. They suck at goaltending. They're an inconsistent team, but yet somehow or another we're hoping they sneak into the playoffs. For what? Do you think a team that's already played 3/4 of their season is all of a sudden going to change now and become a tough team and play great defense and be great at goaltending and do everything you're supposed to? All of a sudden they're going to change from what they've been the entire year. Come on, man. So all of a sudden you think Tua's going to be durable? Tua's not even a good athlete. He's a decent athlete. So he's not a guy that's going to be PJ Walkering the place all over. He's not going to be avoiding people. He'll run a little, but he's not the guy that's going to be darting around, dodging. He isn't Roger the Dodger. He isn't Michael Vick. That's not who he is. He's not even Russell Wilson. Okay? He's not that kind of athlete. And with a hip injury, and here's one more thing. I want you to remember this because a lot of people aren't thinking about this. You draft Jordan Love, you get to work with him this year. You draft Justin Herbert, you get to work with him this year. You draft Tua, you're not working with him this year. He's rehabbing. Think about that. So he may take the field at the end of next season, or he may not take the field at all, and then you wait for him to come back on 2021, and that's when he breaks down and you find out that you screwed up. Oh, by the way, 2 drafts have gone by now. You ever thought of that? You ever thought about that? You ever thought that when Tua rests this year, you sit him out all year, you're not taking a quarterback in 2021 because you took Tua. And then Tua takes the field in 2021 and continues to break down. Then where are you? Nobody talks about that. Nobody mentions it because you will skip that draft in quarterback. That means you won't draft another one till 2022 because you screwed up with Tua and you waited a whole year to find out that you screwed up with Tua. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no interest going down that road with Tua. None. I love him as a passer. Dude is deadly accurate. Ball placement, all that stuff. I just don't think he'll ever stay standing long enough to enjoy those talents. And that's my problem with Tua. And so the Justin Herbert thing, okay, so you're the Dolphins. Think about this now, okay? You're the Dolphins. I just brought all this scenario out to you. So we draft a kid. We're not really going to play him this year because he's got to recover from that hip injury. So we give him pretty much the whole year to recover, and we're not going to see him till 2021. And what if he continues to break down and we didn't take a quarterback either in 2021 because the draft is way before the 2021 season? Then what do we do? Then we're going to be that. Why do you think I've said over and 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 over? And by the way, I said it over again also. Take a second quarterback if you take Tua. Because this is the scenario that you're stuck in. This doesn't make any sense at all. You know what I mean? It's asinine. And so, what are you going to say?
Well, what about, like, let's throw this scenario that even weakens it. Rosen ends up showing he's the guy. And Tua
Drew Brees,
still has this
Drew Brees,
injury.
Phillip Rivers.
Tua still has this injury thing, and half the league is like, hey, you picked him. We don't want him. So he's devalued.
Yeah. So, I mean, or what about if Anthony Gordon shines, or Jordan Love, or Nate Stanley, or, or Davidson, or any
You're
of them?
never going to get that fifth pick value back on Tua, man.
Right. So here's where the Herbert thing makes sense. If I don't want to deal with this hip injury for 2 years, and I may not know if he can play till 2021, okay, then maybe I am better off taking Justin Herbert because I can now work on his psyche because I don't have to work on him physically because he's built like Adonis. The guy's 6'6", 240, runs like a deer, has a cannon for an arm. So, and he doesn't turn over the ball. And please don't say he's Ryan Tannehill in this sense. Did you watch the Senior Bowl when that pass rusher was coming right off the snap? That would have been a sack. He has actually pocket awareness. He's not Ryan Tannehill. Okay? And he has accuracy. He's not Ryan Tannehill. Justin's problem is not the physical issues. It's if you build up the mental side of it. So if you're the Dolphins, do I have to build up a guy physically, which I can because I'm not God. It's either his body holds up or it doesn't. But maybe I can build up his psyche. So again, I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. But I'm definitely not a Tua guy at 5. I think it's asinine to take him at 5. I think it's even dumber when people say, oh, trade up to 3 to get Tua. Yeah, I'm going to trade up for a broken-hipped guy at number 3. Do you know how stupid that sounds? That's almost as asinine as the Matthew Stafford articles last week. Here's Matt Patricia going into his 3rd year. He has to win and get in the playoffs. He's going to trade away his franchise quarterback to bring in a rookie, which will guarantee him a losing season. Oh, and by the way, they're going to bring in a rookie with a bad hip. Like, people don't think, like, you don't think the GM and the coach have to prove themselves this year and get in the playoffs? Because if Detroit doesn't get in the playoffs, they're cooked. And those guys are fired. You think the Fords are going to say, yeah, let's get rid of Stafford. Let's give you a clean slate so you can start with a new quarterback, and that'll buy you more time. No, man. Patricia doesn't have any more time. But no, let's write articles like this will make the Dolphins nervous. You don't think for yourselves, man. Let's just write an article for sensationalism because that's what it is. It's not an article of substance because if you actually put one and one together, there's no way you get rid of Matt Stafford this year. It's impossible because Tua's not going to take you to the playoffs. And Patricia must make the playoffs this year because if not, they're going to fire his ass. Guaranteed. But no, let's write that article because it'll get a rise out of Dolphin fans that aren't thinking just like the writers. You know what I'm saying? So it's just nuts, man. It really is. It's funny, and it's humorous. But I do understand Herbert interest by the Dolphins because if you feel that the next level guys are too much of a project physically, okay, because I like Nate Stanley, but he's a project down the line, a couple rounds down. I love the Davidson kid from Princeton, but he's a project of a third-day draft project. I like Anthony Gordon. He's probably a second-rounder on a project. And I love Jordan Love. But again, I'm not blind. I see that he makes bad decisions. He has some erratic throws at times. There are things that he does. Now, he played on a terrible team. So this is something that you have to take into account. But even if you play on a terrible team, you should be able to take care of the football. Okay? Eli Manning played on a poor football team at Ole Miss. He didn't have a lot of talent around him, but he played efficiently overall. And that helped him. And that helps him. And he played in the most difficult conference also on top of playing an efficient game. These are things that you have to look at as a front office. Jordan Love was not efficient. And I like him. But I like him because the athleticism that guy has. And he can make some throws that, man, you'll go with Jordan Love. You're like, wow, holy crap. Did you see that? Because you know a lot of people can't make those throws. But you got to get it down to a consistent basis. And at this level, these aren't sliding glass windows like I always tell you. These are bathroom windows. They're small. The opportunities are small. You better be accurate, and you better be decisive and quick. So the Herbert stuff actually makes sense.
In reference to Herbert, with Fitzpatrick there and his 7 kids and his groundedness and stuff like that, do you have him with Fitzpatrick right up under his wing and exposing him to the family and
Everybody.
grow up and all that?
Everybody.
Or does that scare that guy away like, holy crap, look at 7 kids? And you know what I mean?
No, I don't. What do you mean? You're talking some silliness.
No, but I'm saying like how some people, like he wants to be young. He's in Miami. He wants
Right,
to do.
so?
Like you do one thing and it's maybe overkill and it scares the kid. And he's like, oh, man, I don't want to do any part of that. You know what I'm saying? How that would maybe freak him out a little bit because he's young.
Freak what out? Fitzpatrick and 7 kids?
And the family, like grounding him, getting him to grow up, mature is what I'm
Justin
talking about.
Herbert?
Yeah, Herbert, right. Exactly.
Oh, no, I think that could only be, bro. It's
You think it would help?
Yeah, guys like Fitzpatrick are only positives.
Exactly.
You can only look at that guy like a positive.
I'm just thinking, like, if
I mean,
he's as immature as he is,
all
you
the
know what I mean?
interceptions he's thrown in his life, those may not be positives, but a lot of other things that Fitz does is positive, man.
I'm not talking about anything football. I'm talking about helping Herbert
I get
grow at maturity-wise.
None of that's
because that sounds like that's the major issue.
None of that's going to have anything to do with it. It's in the locker room. It's helping him handle the day-to-day, the week-to-week, in the huddle, in the game, all that kind of stuff. That's where it is. It's not about off the field.
If we get Herbert, we're going to have to get him at 5. Because at 18,
yeah, no, he's not going to
gone.
last 18. He's a top 10 pick.
And if he's gone,
it
sounds like
Love. He's
Love.
physically gifted to allow him to drop that far.
And if there's the panic of you got 3 guys gone, how fast does Love come off the board?
Remember, when you talk about Herbert, it's not a guy that's erratic. It's not a guy, this guy can throw the ball. This guy's accurate. This guy's a really good athlete. This guy's efficient. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't kill you in that sense. It's off the field It's in the huddle. It's on the sidelines. It's not about the game. So it's up to you as a franchise. Am I praying for some guy to stay healthy and, like Humpty Dumpty, or do I just, okay, let me work on the psyche of this kid instead? I think I got a much better chance at rebuilding this when I can never rebuild the other guy because he's broken already. That's the stuff that you can't
Is
teach
it safe
whatsoever.
to assume that Love is probably gone by our 18th pick? If
Maybe.
those three are gone, you know what I'm saying?
If what?
If the big three are gone,
Yes.
with Herbert being the third,
Yes.
is Love gone by 18? Do we even
Yes.
have it? Love will be swooped
I
up.
believe he will be taken in the top 15. Somebody will reach. They will.
So our play is 5.
5. Yes.
At QB, basically.
Right. That's why I think they maybe Herbert is the guy that they take because of that. Let's see. Mike Monaco, he's one of your listeners. He shook your hand at the Toyota place. Okay. Mike Monaco. What are we talking about there? I'm joining in here in the middle. Let's see. What else do we have here? Ty says, I will not support the QB of this franchise if it's Tua or Herbert, Big O. Well, unlike you, Ty, I support everything because I'm a Dolphins fan. I may disagree with it, but I have to support it. I have no choice. I can disagree. Let's see. J Love doesn't impress me enough. Herbert or Tua, I'm good with at 5. That's what Michael says. What else do we have here? Big O, you make everything interesting. I don't know about that. My wife doesn't think so. Let's see. Matt Patricia should already be fired. I'm with you, but I mean, it is the Lions. They fired the guy that had 3 winning seasons out of 4, made the playoffs twice, but they fired him. It's crazy. Henry Crinkle says Jordan is Jameis. No. Jordan's not a head case like Jameis Winston. That's not fair. No. No, that's not fair. Jordan Love's a good kid, man. Herbert is going to go crazy with the weapons he's going to have, and we need a running back. So user Tom says. Michael says, doesn't matter what QB they draft, they should sit behind Fitz till the very end of the season. That's true, Michael. Not all the way, but, about 3/4. I'm with you. One guy says, I don't want a broken down and choke Tua. Oh, because, the big games, he hasn't come through. That's why people are throwing that choke thing now. Who's a bigger jerk, Matt Patricia or Bill Romanowski? Wow. That's a tight race, bro. It's a tight race there. That's a tight race. I'll go with Patricia, bro. Okay? Because, that slob has got a bird's nest on his face, and he's actually telling some reporter to sit up or something straight. Meanwhile, he's walking in with a pencil in his ear, a bird nest on his face, and a jumpsuit. That's your head coach. So, yeah, no. Oh, and the hat's backwards. It's like, come on, bro. You're not allowed to tell a reporter how to sit when you dress like that. But, again, coming back full circle, I can understand why Herbert might be in the mix when you think about all you have to go through with Tua. And, again, think about this. You won't really find out about Tua till 2021 after the next draft. So, if you're that sold on Tua, are you sold on him that you got to sit for 2 years to find out whether he's the guy? That's something to think about. See, if you draft Jordan Love and screw up right in the first year, you'll find out like halfway through the year, you throw Jordan Love in there or Justin Herbert, and for that half year, they look terrible, and you're like, uh-oh, did we screw up? All right, let's cover our ass. Let's take another quarterback. You played 2 of the last couple games of the season because you're trying to get him, acclimated or whatever in 1 game or 2, and then he goes into an off season, you won't be able to make a determination. And you won't find out till the following year. And then you're in November, December of 2020, and you're like, holy crap, we made a mistake. Or 2021, I'm sorry. And you won't be able to get that another quarterback till 2022. It's a long time, ladies and gentlemen. You need 2 years from when you draft him to then find out to assess him. You don't even get to assess him in his rookie year. I don't think people really have talked about that at all. At all. I don't think anybody brings that up.
Nobody has.
No, they just say draft him. Pick him. Trade up for him.
All the talk right now is how he's making all progress, and he's going to get the throw, and he's going to get to this.
Throw doesn't mean he's healthy. Throw doesn't mean he's 100%. Throw doesn't mean he can take punishment. Oh, by the way, I don't think he's ever been able to take punishment. So I'm just saying. There's a lot that goes with this.
Hate to stop this, but we need to get Franco.
All right, let's change gears. Let's go from football to football. Inter Miami played their first exhibition game in front of the public. We were there, baby. We witnessed it. We witnessed the first ever goal. Also, in Inter Miami history in public. You got to always throw the in public stuff because they have played a couple of other games like behind the scenes. Anyway, Franco Panizo is going to be covering Inter Miami for SBIsoccer.com. He will join us next.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Metallica, headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. Go to welcometorocvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, it is time to continue the most complete sports talk show in South Florida. It's not even close. We burn everybody by miles because we'll talk about every sport here on this show, including, of course, a little soccer. Been talking soccer for years here on the program. And, of course, Inter Miami this weekend had their exhibition game against the Philadelphia Union. We were there witnessing it for the first time. They did lose, unfortunately, 2-1. A late goal was a heartbreaker overall, but they did play well. And my man Franco Panizo, is it Panizo, Franco? Did I pronounce
Yeah,
it?
you got it right.
Okay.
You got it right. Usually people do not get the pronunciation correct, but yeah, you did a good job.
All right. So Franco Panizo, and you can follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo, Panizo. He works for SBIsoccer.com, and he is covering Inter this season, and he was at the game. He was one of 3 members of the media, us, Michelle Kaufman, and Franco. Pretty much that was the contingent that was covering Inter Miami in the game on Saturday. First of all, Franco, how you doing, my brother? You doing all right?
Doing great, man. I'm sitting here in my backyard with the South Florida sun shining on me, looking at the lake. So it's good. It's good to be back. So yeah, great.
Good to have you back. And I guess you're going back on Saturday, right, for the game against the Rowdies? Correct?
Yes, yeah. I'm heading back up to doing the drive again with my brother, who's an Inter Miami fan. And yeah, I'm just gonna work the game and do the same thing we kind of did this past weekend. Observe, write a recap with some analysis, and yeah, the whole nine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so for those of you out there, it is I believe it's free also again, right? Correct?
Yeah, it is free. It is free. So if any Miami fans want to make the trip up, or you want to come with us, and we have some space in the car, so anybody who wants to join, me and my brother can tag along.
There you go, Al Lang Stadium. I've never been there. What a beautiful little
Gorgeous.
stadium, man! It's awesome. They play the Rowdies on Saturday at 7:00. That place will be cranking because, as you could tell, Franco, as we were leaving, that place is getting packed because the Rowdy fans were packing it for the second game. So they'll pack it for this game at 7.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a great atmosphere for that one. But first of all, your thoughts on the first time seeing the club publicly?
Yeah, they've talked a lot, and there's been a lot of dialogue about them playing a proactive style, a South American style, if you will, where they keep the ball on the ground, and that's exactly what we saw. They refused to kick a long ball. They refused to smash the ball either up the field under pressure or into the stands. The tactics were very clear to keep the ball on the ground and try to build up possession and build up an attack that way. I think maybe 4 or 5 times at tops we saw where they were under pressure and they either kicked it out of bounds or smashed it upfield. I think towards the end when they were searching for the equalizer after Philadelphia scored that late go-ahead goal, then you saw maybe a little bit more direct play, a little more long balls up top to the rookie Robbie Robinson, just because they were frantically searching for the tying goal. But other than that, man, you saw that. You saw a lot of possession. You saw a lot of technical skills on the field. It was a very attractive style of play, in my opinion. I think the Miami fans will like it if that's what translates to the MLS games when the MLS games that matter come. They did miss a little bit of punch in the final third. There weren't that many clear-cut chances for Inter Miami on the day. They had, in the first half after Rodolfo Pizarro came in, they created a few quality looks. He scores one. But in the second half, even with all their possession and, I think at one point I even looked at the field and all of Inter Miami's 11 players were either at the midfield line or in the Philadelphia Union's half. But even with that, they still didn't create that many clear-cut chances in the second half. So I think if they can address that and if they can add a striker, because they need to add a striker, a goal-scoring striker, a proven goal-scoring striker, if they can do that, then I think Inter Miami fans are really going to enjoy this team because, from a stylistic point and aesthetic point of view, they look good.
And Franco, one of the things that and I would imagine that international player that they've got that slot, that's probably going to be that striker that you're talking about. Do you know anything about who it's going to be and when the hell it's going to happen? Because it would be nice for the opener.
Yeah, so Paul McDonough spoke last week at practice on Friday, and he said that they have 2 more players they want to sign, a central midfielder and a striker. He said they would both come from abroad. As for who it will be, there's a lot of names that get thrown out. There's a lot of names that come out in the press, not only here in Miami and nationally in the United States, but internationally. But just, this is just me reading between the lines and judging from what Paul McDonough said. It doesn't sound like it will be a huge name, a big recognizable star player. It sounds like it'll be it'll more than likely be, a younger player who's, pretty good, but maybe not as well known in the soccer world or to the, general soccer fan here in South Florida. I haven't heard. I just read the rumors. I just got back down here, so still working my connections here to see if I can get any rumblings. But I think they're going to go younger. I don't think Paul McDonough's going to go the older European veteran. I don't think he wants to. Even when he built Atlanta, it was just mid to early 20-year-old players that are promising that he can sell at a future date. He even said that. I think that was part of the quote that I wrote up last week was, he could pick up a younger player that has a sell on value. So I would expect them to go that way unless they can find a real sweetheart deal with a older European guy or older European based player that really wants to come here. So I would expect them to go mid-20 striker, just like they have, with Pizarro at the playmaker's position, Pellegrini at the winger spot. So I think it'll be more in that line.
All right, so let me ask you, Franco, when you look at the style of play, and we saw a lot of possession for them, although in the second half in the first half they had their chances. In the second half, somehow Philadelphia turned it up on defense and also the substitutions. Philadelphia made a lot of substitutions, so they had a lot of fresh legs in the process. But what kind of formation do you expect them? Because I know you asked Coach Alonso the question about the different formations that he used throughout, and it looks like he's obviously, because they're in the early stages, he's still experimenting and trying to figure out what formations works for his team and his talent.
Yeah, his response to the thing, and it's something that other coaches have said during my time covering MLS, is, that formations don't really matter. It's just more about the style, but the formations do matter because it ends up being how your players position themselves on the field, what spaces you're closing, what spaces you're trying to open. So I don't really fully buy that the formation doesn't matter. I think they're going to go with what we saw to start. I think they're going to go with a 4-2-3-1 just based on the personnel that they have and the way they've constructed this roster. In the second half, at times, you saw a 4-3-3 with Pellegrini up top for Juan Agudelo, who got injured. Pizarro was drifted out to the left, and Argulo was out on the right. And then in the midfield, you had a triangle with Will Trapp and Ulloa sitting deeper, and Lee Win as the advanced midfielder in that triangle. And they tried to attack that way. Maybe they were looking for more width at that point. But Alonso didn't really touch into that too much, as could be expected. Obviously, he's trying to keep his cards close to the vest. They have that mysterious factor going into the season, so I wouldn't expect them to say too much. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll go 4-2-3-1 at the end of the day when the season starts. But there's always teams always like to have flexibility. There's some teams that just want to stick with the formation through and through, and they stay in their set formation, whatever it is, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, whatever it is. But I think Inter Miami with Diego Alonso, they're going to have different looks that they'll go to and turn to. But I think their base one, at least to start, will be that 4-2-3-1 that we saw in the first half.
All right, so tell Inter fans out there that are obviously we got a lot of new fans, the guys that have impressed you so far, and the guys that they should be keeping an eye on from what you've seen.
Well, Rodolfo Pizarro, if they ever officially announce his signing, which is an interesting note here in this preseason so far, he's obviously a player to watch. You could tell, and I'm sure you guys did as well. When as soon as he came into the game on Saturday, about halfway through the first half, the game changed, and Inter Miami all of a sudden had more bite and more punch in that final third. So I think he's one to watch. I would say you could also check out Lee Win. He impressed me on Saturday. I mean, I've covered Lee for years now, and I know what kind of player he is, but I think he might really fit the way this team wants to play. And then if I'm gonna go one more on the defensive side, I'll go Will Trapp. He's a defensive midfielder. I think he's going to be very key to how Inter Miami plays. You saw on Saturday he dropped back to pick up the ball from either Luis Robles, the goalkeeper, or the two center backs, Roman Torres or Nico Figal. He's going to be pivotal in terms of initiating the sequences from the back, with a good foot, with a clean touch, clean passes. He got caught in possession on one play early on that kind of made I think Paul McDonough and the coaching staff kind of cringe a little bit. But overall, he had a very good performance, in my opinion, with how he was able to dictate the tempo and help dictate the play. He had a range of different passes, played it short, switched the point of the attack a couple times, and that's what he's known for. That's what he's known for, and that's what he's been known for in MLS during his time as a player. So I think those three are ones to keep an eye on. Obviously, there's still two more signings to come. One is reportedly Agustin Almendra, who's also a center midfielder, and then obviously that striker. So we'll see. But as of right now, the way the roster is based, I'd say the three players to really keep an eye on are Pizarro, Wynn, and Trapp.
All right, good stuff there. Franco, what are you guys working on SBIsoccer.com so Inter Miami fans can check you out? What are you doing in your coverage?
Yeah, I'm trying to do everything. So I've been covering MLS for more than 10 years almost. Yeah. I'm originally from the area. I moved to New York, New Jersey once I got out of college at FAU to go cover soccer because it's just always been my passion. So I just moved back to cover Inter Miami, and what you can expect is, very thorough, in-depth coverage of this team and analytical stuff, news stuff, opinions, player ratings. I think I did the first ever player ratings after this preseason match for Inter Miami. I don't think anyone's done that yet. So it's, just very comprehensive soccer coverage. If you're already a soccer fan and you're going all in on Inter Miami, then SBIsoccer.com is probably the place for you to be, because we've been doing this for so long, and I've been covering the game for a while. So we're going like all in on the very specific game coverage. We'll have news as well. I'm going to practice every day or almost every day. So I'm also doing some video this year. So that's been a new thing for me. I did a video hit after the game on Saturday and after last Friday's practice. My first 2 times of doing that. So I'm working on that as well. You'll see some of that incorporated over the course of the preseason and the season. So I'm also starting a podcast, which I'm recording later today with a buddy of mine, Eric Krakauer, who's a BN Sports commentator. Met him in New York. He just moved down here a couple years ago to work at BN. And we're starting a podcast, which, you'll also see either on Twitter or on SBI. So a lot of stuff happening. I'm excited about it though, man. Like, as much as the fan base is excited to see their team play and get going, I'm excited to cover a team at home and, do a very thorough coverage of this team. So yeah, there's a lot. If you have a big appetite and you're an Inter Miami fan, SBIsoccer.com is going to probably be the place to go this season.
Franco Panizo, baby. Follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo. And Franco, if you need a little help with that podcasting stuff, I kind of know about that now. Now I have a little experience with that podcasting stuff. So you need any tips there, I'm here to help you, my brother. All right.
No, for sure. No, I've been listening to you, like I told you when we met over the weekend. I've been listening to you for a long time. Obviously not as much the last few years because I've been up in the Big Apple, but man, I definitely appreciate you having me on, and obviously the gesture of any advice that you can give me, because I definitely need some advice here. Like I said, I'm doing video for the first time, so I'm asking people to do video, like what I can do. The pod is the first time I'm doing podcast myself, so trying to learn as much as I can here to provide a thorough coverage. So I'll probably take you up on that, and I might give you a call when you're off the air to pepper you with some questions.
Anytime, my brother. You got me there. I'm always willing to help anybody and everybody out there, my friend. Franco,
thank you, man.
Thank you for taking some time. Thank you for dropping the knowledge, my man. We'll be doing it more throughout the season, and I know I'll see you at an inter practice or an inter game. Be good.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Okay.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go, Franco
right.
Panizo, baby. Yes. Good stuff there from SBIsoccer.com. I like it. Get to talk a little Inter Miami. Yes, sir. Got a little Panthers in with Ian Margul. We talked a little XFL with Mark Perry. Now we talked a little Inter Miami with Franco Panizo. We will talk a little baseball at 2:30. We'll cover a lot of the things that are going on in the world of sports, man. So it's a beautiful thing. National, like baseball, like the XFL, local, like the Panthers, and Inter Miami. I like it, man. We'll get back into a little Heat talk, too, as the Heat get back into action on Thursday, taking on the Hawks as they start their road trip. We got a lot of things to talk about here on the program. Remember, if you want to reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can always reach out at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. We do want to remind you that Craig Zinn, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the finest Acura dealership on the planet, baby. They are ready right now for you. Listen, right now, great lease features, 2020 models, ILX 209, TLX 249, RDX 339, MDX 349, only $29.99. Do it signing plus tax tag and registration, folks. Listen, it's Customer Appreciation Month. They want to thank you for making them the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. They are a top 5 dealership in the country. That's why I tell you, man, no better Acura dealership than to go there. And if you own or lease an Acura, go see my guys, Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber, and they will take care of you at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Good stuff there. Let's check some of the accidentlawfirm.com text line messages. We'll get to that. Let me see. Somebody's just asking me now if I saw the Salguero article, which, of course, we just talked about it. What else do we have here on the accidentlawfirm.com? Big O, why is Bobrovsky such a well, I can't say that on the air, but I don't know if he is or not. All I know is that he's playing like crap, and he's been playing like crap all season long. Big O, I can't take it anymore. Everyone has the Dolphins taking Tua with our 5th pick, and I agree with you. You must draft another QB if you draft Tua at 5. I say no way, Dolphin Jeff from Long Island, New York. Well, Dolphin Jeff, if you just heard what I was talking about earlier in this hour, I already told you lots of things that you got to think about with the Tua situation. Okay? There's a lot of things that you have to worry about. And they could create real problems for you as an organization down the line, and yet people don't even talk about it. It's crazy. I don't understand it personally. So what can I tell you? But listen to the segment. You will hear all of that. Let's see what else is we got on the chat board. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up on the chat board and share the YouTube link that you're watching with your friends on a text, on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere, man. Anywhere and everywhere you can share our link, share it so people can find out about it and they can find out about real sports talk actually going on in South Florida. Let's see. Big O, you should be on the big network. No, we're fine. We'll be on the Mad Dog channel tonight. I'm happy with that. I'm good with a little serious radio every once in a while, but I'm fine here, man. This domain is fantastic for me. I am good. This allows me to do what I want and have a life too on top of all of that. Kind of like next week. Let's see what else. Big O is starting his own big network. That's right, NorCal. Damn straight. Miami should draft a DL or an O lineman at 5. Should be Derek Brown, Jedrick Willis, Tristan Wirfs. I'm with you, man. At 5, I know I can get me a stud lineman. Bring it on. That's why the Tua thing scares the crap out of me at 5. And when people say trade up for the guy, hey, look, Marino Castillo says Tua no matter what. There you go. Some people are like Marino. They're sold on Tua no matter what. My boy Omar Kelly, sold on Tua. My boy Omar Kelly will draft him at 5 and will trade up for him at 3, which I think is completely nuts. I think it's crazy to draft Tua at 5. I think it's asinine to trade up for him at 3. Okay? There's the difference. They're both bad decisions, but it becomes a catastrophically bad decision when you trade up for a broken down quarterback. Oh, he's healthy now. I love how people make it sound like healthy means durable.
His DNA's been totally infused with Kevlar.
Yeah, there you go.
Teflon, and there's no more injuries ever going to happen again.
None. That's it. He's healthy. He's got a titanium hip now. Nothing will ever happen to him. In fact, he probably should have gotten a titanium hip. That might have been better for him. I love it. Yeah, he's healing just fine. And that means what? Did you say the same thing after he fixed one ankle, only to screw up the other one? And then after he fixes both ankles, he's fine, and then he screws up his hip, and then what? So he's fine now. He's got both ankles fixed.
It'll be the in-between.
Yeah.
It'll be the knee.
Right. Well, he already had a knee injury recently.
I'm just saying, no,
sprained it.
This will be real.
This will be like a surgery. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean,
ACL, MCL.
All of a sudden,
kneecap. It'll be a full-blown blowout.
Tua's going to be Mr. Durable now. All of a sudden, that's it. You can hit him with a Mack truck. It's not going to injure him whatsoever. Really? Is that where we're going now? With Tua? Tell you. EJD Construction. We love talking about Eric and John. Here's the number, 305-318-4978. I've witnessed this myself, okay? I've witnessed Eric and John building and changing the way everything looks in your home, your business, you name it. And I'm not talking about like a handyman. I'm talking about custom home construction, major home remodeling. You need somebody that's professional. It's got a staff that's second to none. You call Eric right now at EJD Construction, 305-318-4978. Shell Construction in-house. That's how they keep their costs down. And the communication with you, the owner, the architects, second to none. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, Eric will take care of you. 305-318-4978. Tell them that Big O sent you. EJD Construction.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are starting hour number 4 here on the program, which is a beautiful thing. Amazing, huh? 4 hours. We're already into the 4th hour.
Must be having fun, brother.
We have completed 3 hours already.
Time is flying, man.
Damn. Sneak Attack 305 says, we can't give all the draft capital we built up to take a broken down QB. Even worse, we trade up. Tua had perhaps the best O-line in college football and was still getting hurt. What's going to happen? Exactly, my brother. Exactly. He's going to a league that the players are bigger, stronger, faster. They hit harder, and they play more games. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. What else do we have here? Oh, okay. I think the rest is you guys just kind of talking to each other, which is cool. Always love that. And remember to keep giving us the thumbs up on the broadcast. Make sure you share the link on the broadcast too, ladies and gentlemen. Share it with your friends, your family, your neighbors, everywhere. Text, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media, Reddit, I don't care, whatever social media platform you use. Share it. Tell them, hey, you want real sports talk? You get it here. And then you can podcast it if you miss it. You can listen to it on demand. Search for it at Big O Radio Show. There you go. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play. We're there, man. We're everywhere. We're like Saguafair. We're everywhere. That's where we're at. All right. So we talked about Inter. We talked about the Panthers. We talked about the NBA All-Star Game. We talked a little Dolphins with the Herbert story and Tua's angle that I think a lot of people really aren't following. That is very important. We talked a little Heat are back in action on Thursday. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about also? Did you see Antonio Brown? He apparently is telling folks that he's going to meet with teams at the Combine. Now, I was thinking about this. What team is going to waste their time meeting with this clown at the Combine when you've got to meet with agents, you've got to meet with players that are, free agents or college football players that are coming into the draft. You got to get your interviews in. You have so many important things to talk about. Why would you waste your time with Antonio Brown? That's the part I don't understand.
Maybe you need a laugh. Maybe you need a break. Bring him in. Let's have a comedy routine.
He
you know what I mean?
he told TMZ Sports that he plans to be at the league's upcoming combine in Indianapolis in order to meet with teams and their general managers. He says, I'm excited and looking forward to seeing those guys at the combine. He said, I'm going to be out there ready to get things back on the right page. Whoever wants to win, man, I'll be ready, is what he said. It was when he was asked what kind of team he wants to join. You know what's the part that's amazing about all of this is how oblivious this clown is to his actions. Like, he thinks, by going around and apologizing to everybody, he'll show sanity. When all it does is it shows you're even more insane. Because you're just walking up to people thinking that the apology is going to carry any weight when we've watched you insult, apologize. I mean, the guy, some of the reports say that he still wants to play for the Patriots. Dude, you went after Bob Kraft. You went after the owner. You idiot. I mean, this guy is crazy. He's clearly dumb. Okay? I mean, no, seriously. Come on, man. Let's just call it like we see it. This guy's not a smart guy. I mean, he doesn't get it at all. It's like Carlos Correa. So we'll talk to Pedro Gomez here at the bottom of the hour. And I don't know if you guys saw the latest with Carlos Correa, and he came out to defend Altuve. And, the whole thing about the electronic device, and, he said he had this ugly tattoo, and that's why he didn't want to take off his shirt, and nobody knows what to believe, what not to believe. At this point, nobody has credibility on the Astros side. Okay? So here's Correa defending Altuve.
Jose Altuve was the one guy that didn't use the trash can. The few times that the trash can was banged was without his consent. And he would go inside the clubhouse, inside the dugout to whoever was banging the trash can, and he would get pissed. He earned the MVP. He hit that home run on Chapman, fair and square. He was not wearing buzzers. That's a story that a fake account on Twitter broke off. And then people just got on that wagon and started talking about the buzzers. We end up winning Game 7 on the road. There's no trash can on the road. There's no cheating on the road. So when I analyze all the games, we earned that championship, Ken. We didn't steal it. Instead of talking about it, he should have done something about it. Cody Bellinger's job is to look for information, get informed, know the facts for sure before he stands in front of cameras to talk about other players. If you don't know the facts, then you gotta shut. And my father's gonna tell you straight up, he didn't use it. He was the one player that didn't use it. Jose Altuve earned that MVP, and he's been showing it for years.
Problem is, Carlos, you're all liars. And you're all cheaters. So none of you can be believed at this point in time. You see, we're past the point of trying to decipher what's real and what's not. You are now all lumped in as cheaters and liars. And because your apologies were fake, because as the heat built up, then you guys started to feel even more remorseful about some of the stuff that went on. But not all of you. And the way your owner mishandled everything, all that did was just put more gas into the fire. So plenty of people won't believe Altuve about being shirtless because there's pictures of him shirtless on Instagram with his buddies and all that stuff. I guess his wife didn't have a problem then. So is it that his wife had a problem with it, or is it that you had a bad tattoo? How many more excuses are we changing our story? How many times? Is it that the tattoo, or is it the wife? Because first you said it was the wife. Now you say it's the tattoo. I mean, come on. And they caught you without your shirt on Instagram a couple months before, but there was no tattoo at that moment because you can't see it. We don't know that you have lost your credibility. What the Astros now need to do is shut the hell up and go away. Play the game and take your medicine, guys, because what's coming is going to be brutal. An Astros player was walking through the airport, and a fan started banging on a trash can in the airport. That's what you guys earned. And you don't get to choose to tell us when the trash can was used and when it was not used. The fact that you used it just one time tells me all I need to know. And Altuve, whether he wanted the trash can or not, he drove in guys that were using the trash can. He scored on guys that were using the trash can. So either way, he benefited, and so did his team, from a trash can. So basically what I'm saying is, Astros, you guys are trash. And you're going to be treated and disposed like trash from here on out. I talked about it last week. You can go down the road of Lance Armstrong if you want and Ryan Braun, and you'll see how you get treated. You see how we treat OJ. You see how we treat you when you're in defiance, in denial, and you want to go against us. But if you want to be Jason Giambi, if you want to be Andy Pettit, if you want to be Robert Downey Jr., if you want to be the person that does screw up, but then you are contrite, you are real about your apology, you admit that you screwed up, you don't point fingers, you don't make excuses, then all of a sudden you get accepted again in our society. It's interesting how that works out. Notice the people that are defiant. Notice what we've done to Pete Rose. Pete Rose lied for 20 years until after getting busted, he fought it for 20 years. The worst thing you can do in our society. Because we're going to hand you a personal sentence. So Carlos Correa, enjoy it, my man, because the sentence that you're facing now, it may not be jail, but it is a jail. It doesn't have bars, but you're going to feel trapped in it. Just saying. Yu Darvish, by the way, the pitcher, was not happy about cheating, let's just say. Let's hear from Yu Darvish.
It's weird feeling is like Olympics, like when players cheat, you can't have a gold medal, right? But they still have a World Series title. Just makes me feel like weird and like that's it. But one more thing, the Korea talking about Bellinger, I saw that yesterday. But so they cheat. I think so right now they don't have to talk. They shouldn't talk like that right now.
He's right. He's right. Don't justify your cheating, man. That just pisses people off even more. That's all the Astros are doing. Let's just mount how many more things we can do to just screw ourselves over and over and over again. So it's really amazing. Chris Sale? Well, guess what? Chris Sale is a guy that he wants to think about the future instead, is what Chris Sale is focusing in on.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of not really dwelling on things in the past. I think that moving forward, this has no effect on us. I think, it's obviously a tough situation. It's put the sport in a bad light. I think, obviously it was the wrong thing to do, but nothing I'm going to do or say today is going to help me win a World Series.
No, it's not. But people didn't want to hear you pissed off, but I get it. He wants to kind of move on. It's understandable when negative things have happened. Yeah, I mean, I recently had a thing where I just I kind of want to move on from it too because it was such a terrible situation.
Yeah, well,
And why dwell on losers?
He opposed Cora and got cheated.
Right.
They faced the Astros.
Right.
And then Cora joined them, and now they're under investigation for using the video room next door. So, of course, he wants it to go away because their thing's about to come up in a week or two.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, although they keep talking like they're clean. That's going to be fun. Chris Bryant, he was honest, brutally honest. Let's hear from Chris Bryant.
What a disgrace that was. Just watching their apology yesterday, too, just there's no sincerity. There's no genuineness when it comes to it. A lot of the apology yesterday was a lot about 2017. It's like, I'm pretty sure it was going on in 2018, 2019, too. Like, and that's just so sad because it's like, just because if they didn't get caught, they'd still be doing it. And, they're only doing this apology because they got caught. And there's a lot of feelings on it. And I know everybody around the league is really upset, and rightfully so, because it's really a disgrace to the game. This is people's livelihoods, too, that they're messing with. Like, guys have never pitched in games since then. Guys have won awards that maybe they shouldn't have won. Who knows? They're certainly talented ball players, but I personally think it's worse than steroids. Really do. It's steroids. You still have to compete and hit the ball. It's coming. Off of these pitchers, like guys throwing, upper 90s with really good curveballs and sliders, and you can totally formulate a unbelievable game plan based on certain things if you know what they're coming. Like, it's frustrating, and they're gonna have a tough year this year for sure. I got booed really loud in St. Louis, and they're going to get, everywhere they go, rightfully so.
Oh, yeah. They're going to get it big time. They put themselves in a personal jail. And listen, he's got – I'm not going to go as far as worse than steroids. I think it's all as bad. Steroids or this. This is disgusting. You're still cheating the game because, look – everybody does this because they're getting an advantage. Let's not kid ourselves. That's why you're trash can pounding. That's why you've got the video room working. That's why you take steroids. All these things that you do, you don't do them for fun. You do them because they work. They make a difference. I love the argument of people, you say, well, steroids don't make you a better baseball player. Yes, they do. Yeah. They're not going to make you a baseball player. Like, I can take a bunch of steroids and I'm still not going to hit the ball. But guys that can hit the ball, you give them steroids, well, they're going to hit the ball a lot harder, farther. They're going to see it better. It's just everything will be easier for them because they already have the skill set. You and I don't have the skill set. They can tell us where the pitch is coming and we still won't hit it. But those guys that can already hit, you tell them that the pitch is coming, and they're going to hit it with no problem.
John Smoltz, MLB, he's talking about this, and he said that he felt that steroids were worse, but then he started thinking about it. He said, actually, changed my mind, because even with the steroids, you still have to hit the ball.
Right.
With these guys, if you know what's coming,
it's over.
It's like putting it on a tee.
It's over.
And he said there is an advantage. A bigger advantage to knowing what's coming
for sure
than steroids.
Yes.
Steroids, the biggest advantage for steroids, bottom line, and you can especially see it with Barry Bonds. At 36, 37, he's the first player ever that his home run numbers go up and ascend.
Yeah.
And what it's about is, as you get older, the wear and tear, the travel, to have the same amount of energy and boost in October and September that you did in April. That doesn't happen, brother.
His head was 3 times the size of his normal head. Please.
Look at Sosa. Sosa was 150 pounds wet.
Yeah.
Ends up 202, 210.
All right, get me the Manfred cut where he says strip the World Series. That's the only one I want to play for the folks because in the end, Chris Bryant feels this way. Yu Darvish feels this way. And the only person that we need to blame is Rob Manfred. Go ahead.
I think for me personally, one of the most troubling pieces of all this was the message that we sent to young people about the game.
That's not the one.
You know, I do in the context of my original decision, it was something that we talked about and analyzed extensively.
And how did you land on the decision you landed on?
Well, I landed on it really several thoughts. Number one, it has never happened in baseball. You know, and I am a believer in the idea that precedent matters, and that when you deviate from it, you have to have a really good reason to do that. I thought that the report gave people a really transparent account of what went on. We put people in a position to make their own judgments about the behavior that went on. That certainly has happened over the last month. And the idea of, you know, an asterisk or asking for a piece of metal back seems, you know, sort of a futile act. People always know that there was something about the 2017 World Series that was different, and they're going to know that because whether we made every decision right or wrong, we undertook a really thorough investigation, and we had the intestinal fortitude to put out there the facts we found, even though they weren't very pretty.
Well, first of all, he's full of crap because he wants everybody else to actually hold them accountable. And meanwhile, you let them get away with it because personally for them, they're still champions. Now, the rest of us, whenever they say champions, we're going to say, no, you're not. You know, I get how we're going to treat them from here on out, but you should have stripped them of the title. Because if you strip them of the title, you now take away the only thing that they stood for in that season. And you will also take away a lot of the anger from people. You'll have less people screaming at them. You'll have less people throwing things at them because they will throw things at them, guaranteed. Okay? You're going to have less players throwing baseballs at them. You're going to have less players pissed off at them if you would have stripped them of the title. Plus, it sends a great message to everybody out there that you're not screwing around. But the problem is, Rob Manfred, since Jim Crane is your boss, one of the 30 owners, then stripping them of the title, you'd be stripping Jim Crane of the title, and now you've got to deal with him. So there must have been something going on behind the scenes with that. And it's irresponsible on Rob Manfred not to strip him of the title, because that's the message you want to send to young people. You sent to young people that your organization stands for nothing, Rob Manfred, that you have no spine, and that you can cheat and get away with it in baseball. That's the message you sent, Rob Manfred. Why? Because you're a coward and you didn't want to go against one of your bosses, because in the end, you really don't work in the best interest of baseball. The best interest of baseball is not allowing the Astros to keep that title and allow the controversy to fester from now to the end of time. Okay? Because we still talk about the Black Sox. We still talk about the 94 strike. We still talk about steroids. We still talk about Pete Rose. All these historic type things that happen, those subjects are still broached. They're still talked about. They're still argued about. All of that. And those are all controversies. But you had an opportunity to put at least a finishing touch on this controversy and say, yeah, they cheated, but they also got stripped of their title. Now we're going to say they cheated and they got away with it because baseball did not punish them. And that's the message you sent to young people all across the country, that you can cheat and get away with it.
I got the asterisk. Cheaters never prosper. Asterisk, only in baseball.
Right. Well, yeah, there you go.
There's your asterisk.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, bro. I'm just telling you, it's It's unacceptable, and it's irresponsible on baseball's part to handle it this way. It's cowardly. Rob Manfred is crap. He just is. And the Trevor Bauer rip job, I heard him in the interview say, well, I would never say that about a player and all that. Well, yeah, because players aren't doing what you're doing and screwing up the game. Because when they even make a mistake, you're there to be the authority and straighten this out, and you failed to do it also. Man. You want baseball to grow and to become more mainstream again, and all of these things, all they're doing is burying the game deeper and deeper and deeper into the abyss. That's all it's doing. It's not helping whatsoever. Anyway. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that's a nice 24-hour talk show there on Twitter that we always have going on. So follow us there and have some fun. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up on the broadcast and share the YouTube link with folks so they know that they can come here to get real sports talk, actually. The stuff you can't get on 560 and 790. On the fluff stations. Corporate radio, baby. Tied to the teams and not allowing you to speak your mind. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's a beautiful thing. All right. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's get ready for Pedro Gomez from ESPN. We just talked a little bit about this baseball scandal. Let's get the latest from him. Let me tell you about Pallet Rack City. We love talking about Eddie Pereira and all the great people at Pallet Rack City. 305-887-9212. And folks, they're your one-stop shop for all of your warehouse needs. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're looking for used forklifts or dock equipment, they've got it for you. They specialize in knockdowns and installations of your warehouse equipment, and they also sell pallet jacks, hand trucks, and most packaging supplies. In other words, everything pretty much that you need for a warehouse, they've got it for you at Pallet Rack City. Are you looking for a great rack so you can straighten out that warehouse? You don't want the boxes stacked on top of boxes. It's really hard to get organized like that. You need some racks, and you need great racks, and you want great-looking racks. And that's why you go to Pallet Rack City. 305-887-9212. That's 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City.
Plus tax, tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometo-rockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometo-rockvillefestival.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we are ready to rock and roll. Pedro Gomez from ESPN covering a little cactus action for you and covering this scandal, of course. Follow him on Twitter at Pedro Gomez, ESPN, MLB Insider. And Pedro, I'll start off with this. I never thought, at least I thought it would take maybe another 20, 30 years. I'd be really, really old at that time because I'm already old. But I figured it'd take another 20, 30 years before I saw a team be hated more than the Heatles. Now we have found it, baby. The Astros will take over the Heatles spot as the most hated team in pro sports. What do you think about that?
It's hard to argue it, Orlandito. It's really hard to argue because they've earned it, so to speak.
I mean, have you ever seen a group of people like mishandle things as badly as these guys have?
I cannot recall anything that I can think of in my lifetime where the public relations issues have been just, it's gone from bad to worse almost every single time. And that's not just now. That was during the World Series when that assistant GM yelled at the 3 female reporters.
That's right. That
was locking out a Detroit Free Press, member of the BBWAA after a game. They have continuously stepped on themselves. And it's been amazing because it's not just a couple of clubs or players that have been lashing out. It's been across. Like Mike Trout this morning. Mike Trout is a guy that has always stayed out of controversy. And he had pointed words for the Astros. So that tells you right there, when you got Mike Trout coming at you, who never says anything bad about anybody, that you've probably done something wrong.
And Pedro, I've seen you report, the reactions from certain players. There is serious disgust by the actions of the Astros all across the league. I mean, this is as pissed off as I've seen baseball players ever, actually. And you're closer to the game than any of us. Have you ever seen something move players this much?
No, there'll be an issue where
maybe one club will be against another club or a player from another club. Hey, look, a few years ago, Manny Machado, when he slid in hard on Dustin Pedroia and, injured him, and Pedroia's career basically has been over ever since then. There was some animosity from the Red Sox toward Machado. But overall, like the way that almost universally everyone from across baseball has risen up in a common voice against the Astros, I've never seen anything like this. No.
And let me tell you, I talked about this on this show earlier, and on the Sirius show that I have also. The Astros have chosen a really ugly path, my brother, because if you want to be Lance Armstrong, go ahead, man. You want to be OJ, you want to be Pete Rose, you want to be defiant, you go ahead. But if you want to be Michael Vick or Jason Giambi or Andy Pettit or Robert Downey Jr., we can forgive, man. We can forgive. But when you take that defiant approach and you take that ignorant approach and you start basically, it's a half-ass apology, that's the problem, man. You look at all those guys that I talked about. Forget about whatever crimes or infractions they committed. The fact that they were in denial, they chose a road, and society put them down that ugly road that Lance Armstrong could never get out of, and neither can Ryan Braun. But the other guys, like a Giambi, we look at them different. You look at Robert Downey Jr. different. You look at the people that are actually contrite about the things that they've gone through, and we're pretty forgiving as a society. Do you agree these guys chose the wrong road here?
Well, I think they've gotten bad advice. I mean, because you see almost as if maybe some crisis PR firm came in and offered them talking points, and they have maintained those talking points, but that's not the route. Look, if you speak from the heart, like what you're saying, a lot of times people are very willing to forgive, no doubt about it. But they've almost and look, I've talked to a lot of players who have told me the same message. They've almost painted themselves as though they're somehow victims of all of what's gone on. And it's like, no, just own it. Own it and say, look, we cheated. But you've never heard them say we cheated. All we hear is we did something wrong. We got caught. We shouldn't have done this. But at no point has anybody said, look, we cheated. We did. We went beyond what we should have ever done, and we deserve whatever's coming our way. I think if you have a consistent message that's from the heart, like you say, I think a lot of times people are like, you know what? Everyone makes mistakes, because we all make mistakes.
Of course.
Of course. But when you try to paint yourself as a victim or that you weren't truly responsible for what happened, well, that just doesn't wash.
Right. No, I'm with you there 1,000%. Let me ask you, Pedro Gomez, of course, from ESPN, joining us. Are they not admitting it because if they go all out, then that opens the door for stripping the title, which I think Rob Manfred has completely dropped the ball, because that would have been the ultimate example for everybody, no matter where you stand. That would have been, and you would have had less anger now at this point. But overall, are they avoiding not coming clean because they feel that if they do come clean, then that opens up the door for them to be officially stripped of the title?
Well, look, I mean, you know what, Manfred has already said he is not taking away the title. So I don't think that's going to happen. I have my own personal views of why the title wasn't stripped away, and I think it's because, look, if Manfred had taken that step and said, you know what, 2017, nobody won, because you're not going to give it to the Dodgers.
No,
it doesn't go to the second place finisher.
No.
It's vacated. It's empty. There was no World Series champion that year. But then all of a sudden, okay, Jim Crane will call dozens of owners and say, you know what, if he does this to me, he can do it to anybody, and he works for us. We don't work for him. And, no matter what you think about a commissioner of any sport, the owners are the bosses of that commissioner.
Yeah.
So I think that if Manfred had gone that route, I think Crane probably could have gotten enough owners to say, let's get rid of this guy and let's get someone in there who's going to do what we want. And I think that might be at the the foundation of why a title was not taken away.
So let me ask you, on the flip side, there's a bunch of owners that probably are pissed. Aren't they going to want Manfred out for not actually vacating? The reverse could be true, too. He could be out of his job in the next year or two because they weren't happy with the – because if this thing is mishandled the way it's mishandled, we know the Astros mishandled it, but now Major League Baseball also has mishandled it, and now it's going to fester for a while. So wouldn't the reverse be true by the owners?
It could. It certainly could. And that's I doubt that will happen, but it certainly could be where enough owners say, you know what, this is wrong. That title should not have been won by them. I just think that that's such a small fraternity. It's only 30 of them that I think they kind of tend to stick together. Look, they have quarterly owners meetings. They get together. They're all, from the same billionaires club. And I think that, when you really look at the end, they're going to stick together probably.
Is Crane a light guy amongst the owners? Because sometimes that you have your factions of owners that are stronger than others. Where does Crane stand in that group from what you've heard?
It's probably somewhere in the middle is what I've heard. But, again, there's only 30. And I think they know that they have to stick together. And if you're an outlier, look, he's not Mark Schott. He's not somebody that, the other owners were like, we got to get rid of this person.
Right.
He's not that guy. So I just think that they're going to abide by each other, and that for that reason, Manfred's already said no title's going to be taken away. Now, his choice of words yesterday at the Grapefruit League Media Day, where he said it's just a piece of metal. Boy, that I was talking to some people today, even in Major League uniforms, who were like, really, then why are we all playing for it if it's just a piece of metal?
Right.
I can go buy a piece of metal wherever I want. That means a lot more. It means a lot more to fans. It means a lot more to everybody. You're in Miami. You see those two titles.
Yes.
They have two pieces of metal at the stadium that mean something to Marlins fans and to the players who played on those clubs. So, I think that was probably a very poorly chosen pair of words or sentence that he put together there.
All right, so Pedro, you're around baseball more than any of us. You're around these players more than any of us. They confide in you. They talk with you. You heard that they're trying to protect the players this year about throwing at players, and that they could be, fining them. It could be going stronger at them. So that's also in a way to kind of protect these Astro players. How bad is this season going to be for these Astro players? I know fans are going to be relentless, but what are you hearing amongst the players? Because even if they could get thrown out for beating somebody, are they going to still go after them? What are you foreseeing right now?
Yeah, I think you're going to see some players who maybe take justice into their own hands. The old frontier justice ways of baseball back in the day. It's funny because Alex Wood, who was on that 2017 Dodgers club and is back with the Dodgers this year, I was talking to him just last week, and on camera he goes, that the ironic thing is that if somebody does do something like that, they're going to be suspended longer than any Astros player who cheated, which is true.
Yes.
Which is true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about that. It's like the NFL suspending Josh Gordon for a whole bunch of weed violations, and then Ray Rice gets two games initially for knocking on his fiancée and spitting on her until, of course, they got busted, and then they gave him 12. But, it is kind of – so you're expecting this to be an aggressive type of thing from the players going after the Astros to send a message?
I mean, look, players have been known – something that happened when they were in A-ball, they'll take out retribution 8-10 years later when they see someone in the right situation in the major leagues. And I've talked to players who are like, back in A-ball, that guy threw at me and screw him. I knew I was going to get him back. I didn't know how long it would take, but I was going to get my revenge. These guys have, elephant memory. They remember stuff forever.
Yeah.
And even if you don't see it necessarily this year, I believe you are going to see forms of retribution coming over the course of years. That's just the way that the mentality of the baseball player is. You know, it may be viewed as a negative by some fans, but that's the way they police themselves for decades. And I would be shocked if that didn't take place going forward. I think that the Astros are in for a very long season, especially those 81 road games. And, you know, it's going to be relentless. I would say even like the organist or whoever picks the music at opposing stadium.
Oh.
You know, you're going to hear Todd Rundgren, I don't want to work. I want to bang on the drum all day. Or, you know, Knock 3 Times by Tony Orlando and Dawn. I mean, I think you're going to hear from opposing clubs a lot throughout the season.
Yeah, no. Now let me ask you: is there any chance, because you know Rob Manfred has put in some new rules, so when a reliever comes in against the Astros and he plunks the first guy, does he walk over to the ump before the ump throws him on and say, "Yo, there's a 3-batter minimum. I get to hit 2 more guys"? Come on.
Oh man. Well, they do have a stipulation in there that it's if you're not tossed out of the game, if there's no injury. So the umps are still within their rights to toss somebody. But you know what? Umpires tend to be old school as well. They might say, no, that pitch got away from him. You know, I can't prove that he was doing anything. I mean, look, you're open to interpretation.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. You definitely are. Do you like that rule? Because I can't stand it. I'm just saying.
The 3-batter minimum.
I can't stand you. You're now forcing pitchers to do something they're not made to do, and now you're putting managers in a position that they're making decisions that are almost out of their control now. And I mean, Tony La Russa, if he was still managing, he would have lost his freaking mind with this rule. I'm just wondering you're a baseball nut. You tell me. You like this rule?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're taking strategy away from a manager, and I'm never in favor of that. So, you know, I know they want to speed up the game. I honestly believe that a lot of the reason that the game has slowed down in the last decade or so is because of the sign stealing. It's because you have catcher-pitcher visits that were extraordinarily high because you had to switch signs for every batter almost. And all of a sudden you've got these multiple signs going for every batter because you knew that something was going on. That slows the game down almost more than anything has. So hopefully that elimination takes place, and that will help speed up the game. The 3-batter minimum, I'm not in favor of taking strategy away from a manager.
Well, hold on a second, dude. I've solved the problem now. We don't have to do all this stuff. Let's just put buzzards in the pitcher and the catcher. That way they have it and they can communicate with each other on the pitchers and nobody knows. He can tap inside his little glove. Hey, ta-ta-ta, you know, 2 taps, it's a fastball. 3 taps, it's a curve, whatever. And that's it. We can put buzzards and we can have MLB officials that are in somewhere monitoring all that buzzard stuff. Look, the Astros came up with a solution in the middle of the cheating. How about that?
Oh, man. You know, the issue with that whole thing is, let's say a manager or a pitching coach calls for a pitch. Well, we've seen a pitcher shake off. The pitcher has to be sold on throwing that pitch. So, you know, it just opens up a Pandora's box as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, outside of that, what are you thinking about our Marlins? Can we get to 70 wins?
I mean, they're moving in the right direction, and that's something that I think a lot of Marlins fans haven't seen for a while. So that's a good thing. 70 wins, you know, the National League doesn't have the juggernauts outside of the Dodgers that the American League does. So that helps everybody trying to avoid 100 losses. You know, if you're in the National League West, you got to play the Dodgers 19 times. That's going to hurt you because they are that good.
Loaded.
But you know, there's not that powerhouse other than the Dodgers. So I would say that 70 is probably realistic, probably because the National League doesn't have the powerhouse clubs that the American League does.
Well, I was at FanFest. We were broadcasting out there. We had Mike Hill on, And I asked him, hey, man, are you going to be able to keep guys this time around? And he said yes. He said that this is the way they're going to build things through the draft, and then as they develop them, that they will be able to keep them. And I said, because it's got to be a bitch for you to, draft a kid, develop a kid, and then watch him play as a star somewhere else. And he agreed with me. Do you believe that this Marlins group will keep some players now?
I think until they do it, you have to be skeptical.
Right.
There's been so many administrations in Miami that have said, no, we'll keep everyone together. And then, after the 97 season, boom, Moises Alou was traded less than a week after winning the World Series.
Right.
The 03 club, same, just tear it down. The club just a few years ago. I mean, when you think of the outfield of Stanton, Osuna, and Yelich together, that's an all-star team outfield almost.
I know.
They've got to earn the belief from the fans, and there's only one way to do that, and that's through your actions.
Follow him on Twitter at Pedro Gomez, ESPN. He's a terrific person and an excellent MLB insider. Pedro, as always, you are a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time, man. Un abrazo.
Un abrazo, Azori. Hablamos pronto.
You got it. Be good. There you go. The great Pedro
Bye.
Gomez. You got it, my man. Thank you. He is awesome, man. He's just a great dude. I've had Pedro on my show now for 30 years. 30 years.
Only 30.
30 years. About 30, man. 30, man. Yeah, 30 years. I used to have him on my Spanish show, La Ensalada Deportiva. And he used to be working for the Oakland Tribune in those days, covering the Bash Brothers at that time. And then he, moved around and went from one paper to another, and went to Arizona, and then went to and been on ESPN for a long, long time now. But I've known that man for 30 years on my show. He's one of the longest-running guests that I've ever had on my show because it's a multi-language guest, too, at the same time.
No, he is flat out one of the best guys.
Oh, yeah, man, come on.
For baseball inside stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your regular group.
Yeah.
Pedro brings this element of unbiasedness where, like, with Gammons, you would have the Boston bias.
Mhm.
We know the other guys. Pedro I don't know, he just seems like the kind of guy, if you had a problem with him, there's something wrong with you type of guy.
Sneak Attack 305 says, actually, it's a great idea for AB to go so he can serve as an example to all future draftees how not to act in the NFL. I like that one, Sneak Attack. Sneak AB is never going to learn. He's actually a bad example. No, but it makes a lot of sense, and he is a bad example. But that's a perfect example for
Have
the
him
other
walk
kids.
in the room with all the draft picks, right, and go, this is an example of exactly what not to do at
yes.
every turn, every step, every sentence, everything.
That's it. Montel Sutton says, what about the New England Patriots and cheating scams, but they still look at them like they're a great team? Dude, inflated footballs is not something that they were going to beat the Colts with a Nerf ball. That has nothing to do with it. And as for the filming stuff, now that's a whole different ball game. That obviously will give you an example, give you an advantage. There's no doubt. But the problem is you don't have all that proof that you need. Like with these guys, you have the proof.
One of the things that Pedro said about extending the game, and why it's gotten so ridiculous. You ever notice every time a guy reaches second base, we got to have a conference. We got to talk.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got to
That's what he
every
said.
single time nowadays. You
yeah.
watch it. There's a guy on second.
Well, that's what he was talking about.
We got to get this. We got to get the sign straight. We're changing it up.
Oh, you got to watch out with that. That's right. Yeah. No, you're right. Cody Douglas says, PJ Walker thoughts, not so much for the Finns, just thoughts. Cody, you got to listen to the earlier part of the show. It's all there. We had I did my own XFL segment. We had an XFL interview because we are the most complete sports talk show.
You mentioned XFL twice, and we had a full in-depth interview.
Yes, and of course I had to brag because I went 6-3 in my picks so far in the first 2 weeks against the spread. So, Cody, I like P.J. Walker, actually. He's must-see TV for me every week, and that's what I can tell you in the short. But go back to the podcast, and you can listen to all of that, my friend. Thank you for tuning in, Cody. Dougie Fresh says, maybe Antonio Brown's agent, he doesn't have one, by the way, can put one of those Astros buzzers on him. I'm going to throw furniture off a balcony. Buzz. I'm going to go bowling. Buzz. I like it, but he has no agent, by the way. Rick Tick. Cut the S out. The Patriots are frauds. I didn't say that they didn't cheat. I know that they cheated, but these guys, it's pretty gross. Peter says P.J. Walker couldn't make it in Chipper 9 City Optimus. Oh, you guys are a trip.
Have you seen the number of shots that have come back now of Astro players like holding their chest and like, all these kind of like they're looking to read something, like they're trying to get a sensor.
Yeah. Well,
there's been like 4 of them now.
Yeah.
5 of them.
I mean, it's the conspiracy theory is going to go on, and maybe they all had upset stomachs or something. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But you lost the right.
A Pepto-Bismol moment? Is that what you're saying, man, on the field?
Yes, a kaopectate moment, yes. But they lost the right to believe them in anything by the way they've approached all of this. If they would have been contrite right from the get-go and say, we screwed up, man. We cheated, and it's what Pedro said. They don't come out and say we cheated. But I truly feel that they don't come out because then that would pick up steam all over the place. You've got to strip them. And then
once you travel down that track, man, it goes downhill, and it doesn't
And
stop.
Manfred can say all he wants that he's not going to do it, but eventually public pressure will then lean on the owners, and then those owners will start to cross the line and say, guys, we have to strip I'm sorry, Jim. We know that you're one of us, but we got to do what's better for the game because this is a black eye on all of us. And then, whatever pissed Jim Crane off, but who cares? I mean, have you seen Jim Crane? At this point, do you care about pissing off Jim Crane because he's such an a-hole? No. Who cares if he's pissed? Strip his ass of the title.
They all walk around with this arrogant.
Yes, which is all baseball too, by the way. Baseball's full of arrogance. That's one of the things I can't stand about baseball, the load of arrogance that they have going on in that stinking sport, dude. I mean, it's just disgusting how arrogant they are at times. Ugh. Gross.
Should have been like the Reggie Bush thing, man. You just strip the title. You don't give it to anybody. There is no champion. Done.
Right.
And you know what? You are 100% correct that the onslaught of crap and absolute disdain that they're going to get for 81 games on the road, it would alleviate some of that because you don't have a title. They have been stripped down.
Right. Yeah.
The fans.
No, you paid the price.
Other teams don't. Right.
You paid the price. And you paid the price for cheating. They stripped you of the title. Now people, you might have gotten a laugh out of people like, you see, you cheated and you didn't pay. Cheaters don't prosper. That's all you would have heard. Now you're going to hear even worse, dude. I mean, and people are going to throw beers at you. They don't care, man. They don't care.
Why'd you buy 2 hot dogs? You'd never buy 2 hot dogs. I'm tossing this one.
Yep.
I'm eating one and tossing one.
It's crazy. Crazy. We got to thank Ian Margul from WPLG. Great Panthers segment with him. If you missed that, you can podcast it. Mark Perry, new addition to the program. First interview with him from XFL News Hub. We talked all things XFL with him, including PJ. Franco Panizo. Franco joined us from SBIsoccer.com. He is covering Inter Miami. He was at the game on Saturday. Another new addition to the show. And then, of course, Pedro Gomez, a classic on my show for 30 years, which means Pedro and I are old. Really, that's kind of what it really means. It's to say, Franco goes to me over at Tampa. He goes, dude, I know you, bro. You're a legend. And I'm like,
I was just going to say, we're reiterating the legend factor there, buddy.
Some people might look at that as a compliment. No, dude, no. Most of us that they call legends, which I am not a legend by any way, stretch, or form, but whatever. It was nice of Franco to say, but it just kind of reminds me that I'm old. That kind of stuff. So Pedro is a legend because he's old just like I am. And
Not
he
getting
is
older.
fantastic.
Not getting older, bro.
No, not at all.
Getting better. Getting better.
We're
man.
trying. We're trying. We are in a better place. Way better place where we can do a much better talk show. We've got our freedoms now. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. So I can't complain. Look, we gave you 4 awesome hours today. 4 great interviews, all kinds of excellent talk. We gave you about 8 hours of programming that you would normally get on regular radio because they've got a half hour of commercials in every hour. We gave you about, maybe, 4, 5, 6 minutes max in an hour. That's it. Lots of talk. Lots of talk. Bill, John, as always, excellent work by them. As always, get in it done. Most of all, we thank all of you out there. Make sure you give us the thumbs up on the broadcast. Always share the link to it with folks. Tell them about it.
There's more Big O to come later this evening.
Yes, if you've got Sirius Radio, we are on tonight 8 to 11 on Sirius Radio on Mad Dog Channel. We'll be rocking Channel 82 from 8 to 11. We'll see you guys later on there or tomorrow morning right here at 11 o'clock once again. Be good out there.
Y'all take it easy.